On the rocks, apparently. Like it on the rocks. My internet connection is not good tonight, boys. This probably is going to be interesting. Hello. Did it not play? It played out for me, but it stopped right at the end of the song. Hello.
Yeah.
Are we on?
Hello.
Are we on? I think we're on.
Yep.
I think we're on.
You do look like you're in an old Chinese film.
Yeah. I was going to say, you Bruce Lee impression there.
Yeah.
What,
you want to fight?
Live on?
And you're fight bit.
YouTube.
What? YouTube. Jesus.
What's going on?
The Big Smoke. What are we live on? I said.
YouTube.
Nice. You're all right now, Cole. You've caught up.
Yep. You're not lagging.
Yeah. The internet here is being eaten by 8 pubescent children that are around here having a sleepover. So yeah, I'm going to struggle tonight, I think. Anyway, hello.
Hello.
So far, so good. It's all working.
Typical, isn't it? It's typical. Typical.
So far, so good.
Right then, how is everybody?
Good.
Yeah, not bad. Busy.
Yeah, all good.
French Dave is he's looking down at his phone or something. He's trying to work out what's going on. Oh, there he is. He's back. Right, it's my connection. My connection's bad.
Yeah, you've got a big lag, I think.
Oh, pardon me.
You're sending okay?
Yeah.
I'm sending, but my video is bad. Is it?
No, I think you're receiving a bit late.
Ah, right. Okay, slight delay, is there? Okay. Yeah. Slight delay.
It's like
That's
you're about
fine.
8 drinks in already.
It's like British trains. Oh, we should talk about the trains as well and all the striking going on in the UK. That's another good one.
Yeah, that's another thing that everyone's
right. So what we got
topics at the minute?
Topics wise, we've got what we got. We've got oil dickheads, haven't we?
Yeah,
oil dickheads,
oil knobs,
orange oil dicks,
orange oil dicks. What else we got? We've got strikes.
Well, specifically 20-year-olds who don't dance on the dance floor.
Definitely wokeness. 20-year-old boring twats. There we go. Save. Put that on the screen. There we go. There you go. Old dickhead strikes wokeness. 20-year-old boring twats. There you go.
Oil dicks.
I don't know whether you can hear the treat. Hey?
Yeah, we can hear him.
Yeah, we can hear him.
Yeah, can you hear him downstairs?
Yeah.
Noisy bastards, honestly.
Shotgun.
Yeah. Apparently, it's against the law. I don't see. It seems unfair to me. All these
Only
eight pubescent children.
Claim
exactly.
Claim your garden's farmland, and then you can get a shotgun.
Yeah.
I'd have to explain that to their parents, which could be interesting. So yeah.
Just give them all a Nerf gun and say, turn the lights off and say you thought there were 8 midget intruders.
Thing is, they're not midgets. That's another part of the problem. I'm getting old now. They're not midgets anymore. They're all like young adults. I mean, I know they're only 11, but they're tall and ridiculous. So
you reckon you could win a fight if it was them versus you?
All of them at once.
Yeah, it's like that thing, isn't it? Would you rather? Would you rather battle 20 ducks or one great big duck or whatever?
Is it one size duck or 20 duck-sized horses or something like that?
Horses.
Yeah.
20 horse-sized ducks.
20 horse-sized ducks.
I'll take 20 horse-sized ducks. I think I just launch them. Just give them a good kick.
That'd be big fucking ducks.
Oh, it's the other way around, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Would you rather right? Yeah.
It's one duck-sized horse. No, hold on.
One horse-sized duck.
Be one horse-sized duck.
Yeah, or 20 duck-sized
horses.
Something like that. Or 120, yeah.
Scary either way. So, yeah.
Oh, with horses. You could have fun with like 20 duck-sized horses, couldn't you?
20? Yeah, you could.
Put them like in a chariot. Out on the chariot and just have like all those horses like you. Yeah, it's on the back of the chariot.
You could tether them to little chariots and then like just chariot race a lot of them. We'll that little action men on the back. See who wins. Get some sort of illegal betting ring going on.
Like Ben
Right.
Chariots.
Where are we going to start then?
Oil dickheads.
Oil dicks heads. Yeah.
Oil dickheads.
Dicks heads.
So this started in the UK, didn't it? And it's spreading. It's spreading to the world because we had a few in France, not like in the UK, but they've gone to Germany now, I think, as well. So, cheers, Great Britain, again. Fucking
taking over the world again.
Yeah. Dickhead colonialism. Yeah.
Has anybody actually experienced them yet, though?
No.
I've seen them on YouTube and stuff and on TV, but it was in. So if you don't know what they are, they wear orange t-shirts, and they basically sit in roads and stop traffic. And apparently they're doing it for the corruption and the awareness of oil, and oil's bad and you shouldn't support oil and everyone should go and live in trees and shit.
They don't want any more oil and gas contracts being awarded. That's what they want. They want to move away from oil.
What do we do then?
Exactly. But the thing is, this is the thing. They're very good at pointing out what the problem is, and there is a problem with global warming and stuff like that. I do believe in that, but none of them ever come up with solutions. They say stop the oil, and then what? Do you know what I mean? It's come up with a solution. There's no solutions.
What are they called? Oil. I was just putting out oil.
Just stop oil.
See, that's with all them sort of things. I saw one from America lately about plastics, and they had someone who doesn't want plastics. Now, she did get shouted down a bit, but she wanted to stop plastics being used. And the guy said, "Well, what are you using there? What's in your clothes? What pen are you using? All plastics are involved. I mean, single-use plastics, I get. Try and sort of stop that, but she didn't come up with an alternative." He says, "Well, everything that you make has got plastic in it. Car manufacturer." He says, "What do we do?" He's like, "I don't know." You can't just
trying to get it now, aren't they? I think they're trying to get it now, so it's so much percentage has to be recycled plastics. I think that's what they're trying now.
I get that. I mean, it's like
where it can be used as recycled.
The problem is, there's so many different types of plastic, and you can't just bang them all into the same thing. So you've got to then go through everything that gets recycled and say, okay, what type of plastic is it? And then it's just almost impossible to do apart from a trained professional, maybe. But I think something the EU are trying to do is they're trying to limit the types of plastics you can use, so that's you can actually just stick them all in and just recycle them and use them as you want afterwards. But
I think that's right.
Tell that to China.
Well, that's it. But you could stop imports from China when when your Barbie doll comes
These
over.
Guys,
it's all been tangled. Then it's like when you've been tangled.
These guys here. So why are they a nuisance? They're a nuisance. I mean, I don't even know what they're arguing for. I mean, this is how bad their protests are. Just stop oil. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I haven't obviously gone. This is the first time I've ever Googled them ever. I know they're here. They want to stop the use of oil and all that nonsense. Okay, fine. You're never going to win that. So what they do is they don't go and harass BP or Shell or these big oil companies. No. They walk down busy roads in busy cities like London and disrupt people's lives. There was a story about a woman that missed her mum's funeral because of them. There was a story about a little girl that missed her cancer operation because of them. And I'm thinking, how is this winning the hearts and minds of the British public to join forces and go and help them? So I haven't got any sympathy for them whatsoever. And I think they're just doing this to be fucking cunts. To put it politely.
I did see. I think I watched an interview or saw, or I can't remember exactly where it was. I read something And they were saying that they're doing it to raise awareness, because even though they're pissing everybody off massively, people then are Googling them. People are then looking at them. People are then talking about them.
I'm not.
But for the wrong reasons. Well, we're doing it now. Yeah, we are. We're doing it now.
Well, I suppose we are. I suppose we're talking about them, giving them a bit
they're pissing everybody off. It's like the ones where you see them stopping the traffic and like they're nearly getting run over because people just need to get by or do something and get somewhere.
If you work with one of them, what would you? And you saw them on TV, what would you do the next day? Like you're a dick.
Punch them in the face.
Yeah,
you're an absolute tool.
I parked my car in front of theirs.
Well, that's it. Say, how did you get in today? Or did you come in your car? No, I've got a bike. How did you get your bike then? Because that rubber on that tires, that comes from oil. That's all produced that way, isn't it? So they haven't got an alternative. So you can't just stop. It's like the plastics lady. You can't just stop using it. It's got to be a gradual thing. It's like the
you need a solution
thing.
first.
Yeah,
you need a solution first.
You know, the ULEZ thing in London and all that sort of stuff, which grips my shit. That can. It's great. Let's charge everybody £13 a day to drive the car.
Oh, we talked about this last time we all got together, didn't we?
How can you do that? Well, he's trying to expand it, innit? You know what I mean? I don't think they will in the end, because I think there'll be that much of a pushback that they won't even do it. People won't pay.
People won't pay. I mean,
that's the whole point. They want the city centres to be traffic free, don't they? That's what it's all about. It's not about people paying. It's not about people paying. It's not about them. Well, it might be a little bit about raising the money in the first instance. But what they want is city centres to be empty. They don't want traffic. They don't want traffic and cars in city centres.
But in Manchester, they wanted to do the whole county, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a certain area, and it didn't work, did it?
We talked about it. We talked about this last time, didn't we? We talked about this last time. We talked about
the Just Stop Oil. They actually protested at the Formula E. What the fuck? Seriously, pull up a picture. They protested at the Formula E.
Let me find it.
What the fuck?
But I think that's just
about that.
Anything that's on the telly. It's like snooker, innit? They did it at the snooker and the cricket.
Yeah, they threw all your thing over snooker table, didn't they? All the orange.
So I think it's just to be on TV. I mean, they've not done it at football yet properly, but
because they get a kicking, that's what.
They get a good kicking. You
get all fans going over onto the pitch and dragging them off.
They have done it. They have done it at the football.
I know he put himself against a goalpost, didn't he? But I think that was a one-off in. I think it was an Ireland game. It might have been. Like that.
Yeah, here we go.
An international game.
There it is. It was the Berlin E-Prix. It was the Berlin E-Prix. So Formula E. I mean, okay. I think this shows how ridiculous they are as an organization. But it gets more ridiculous because this happened this week. You just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Let me find out what happened here. So it's Stop Oil, isn't it? Stop Oil, anti-Stop Oil group. There we go. I'm giving it away a little bit, but there we go.
Have you seen the stag do that interrupts them?
No.
The YouTube. So there's a stag do, and he gets at the front of this, and he nicks the poster and says, "We love oil," and runs off with the poster.
Did you see this? Did you see this week? So the people sat on the floor are the Just Stop Oil idiots, and the people around them are the Just Stop Oil people. So basically, it's the anti-version of them. And they're all wearing the same T-shirts, and they're all there stopping them moving because they're always complaining that people are pushing them out of the way, and it's assault, right? It's aggravated, whatever it is, aggravated assault, isn't it? So they formed a ring around them so they couldn't do anything. So they all sat there, and then the Just Stop Oil people were like trying to negotiate with them. Oh, you'll join us eventually, and this and that. And everyone's going, "No, we won't." And then the woman on the floor gets really exasperated and says, "Well, you won't be doing this forever. How long are you going to stand there?" They went, "As long as it takes." And I was dead cool with it. Like, yeah, good for you, mate. Good for you.
Yeah, get a second shift in, won't they, after about 4 hours?
No, exactly. And then someone on Instagram put, "Who's going to create the Just Stop Oil group for a
ring in a ring.
A ring within a ring within a ring. Yeah, there you go. All arguing with each other. So yeah, anyway.
But that's it. I can't see what they're trying to achieve with it when that's all they're doing, just pissing people off, just annoying people.
I think it's about
not getting anybody on their
awareness
side,
in it, but they're not getting people on the side. So,
but there's a good kind of awareness, and by disrupting people's lives.
Who should you target then? That you say like BP and Shell and stuff, but they'll just get the police to move them on and stuff like that. But I mean, they should be targeting the politicians, make their lives hell. They know where they live. Don't let them go to work in the morning. You know what I mean? Just, Rishi Sunak likes to have police escorts wherever he goes. Just stop them from coming out. Do you know what I mean? They're not doing that.
Yeah, because stand in front of their car, stand in front of, like you said, the politicians.
They can actually be arrested for that. That's why I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you can. I don't think it changed. I don't think your rights change depending on who it is. I don't think there is a maybe because it's a
security risk.
Yeah, maybe.
The police have the powers now. The police have the powers to arrest them, but they don't choose to do it. And that's
because it's just the general population that they're doing it to. Whereas if it's somebody who's not the general population, that's where they'll choose to arrest them.
Well, it gets people are just sick of them now. They're just bored of them. I mean, I think at first they're a bit like, tolerant, and how far can we take this? Can we push them out of the way? And I think now people just push them out of the way. They don't care, do they? They don't care. Well, there was some footage yesterday of some guy just grabbing hold of one of these protesters, throwing him on the floor, and literally kicking him in the head.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Just had enough of
it. That was in the UK, that wasn't it? Because there was one in Germany.
It was like 2 days ago, I think it was.
Yeah, I think one of them caused a crash, didn't they, or something? And then obviously the one that was in the accident.
Oh, yes, it was because his car was in the central reservation, wasn't it?
Yeah, and a van had gone into the side of him. Yeah. So they give him a bit of a kick in.
And the ambulance can't get there for him anyway because they keep clogging the road up, so the ambulance will be delayed. So.
That's it. Was these the ones that were gluing themselves to the motorways and stuff as well?
See, I'd just be pulling their hands off me.
Yeah.
I would. If I was in a car, I just got to go, before the police get there, you've glued your hand. Oh, have you? Well, it'll take two of us, but we'll pull that hand off.
Accidentally trip up over the hand.
Oops, sorry. I just pull it off.
Right.
Well, just cut out a really big piece of,
they did,
concrete. And just let them go home with the hand stuck to a big lump of concrete.
They did that though, didn't they? They did that in France. They drilled around it, didn't they, in France? I'm sure it was France where they did it.
I think they just give
it a big tarmac like that.
Yeah, just like, bye.
Hello.
Your problem now.
Nice.
Don't get that scene.
I like that. That was a good one. Anyway, so there you go, oil dickheads. Just think.
See how long it goes on for.
I just think you're picking on the wrong people. You're picking on the weak. You're picking on the general public. You want the general public to be on your side, and you're just pissing people off. And do you know what? People have now had enough of you. I mean, there's an anti-group, as you just saw, and they're just lamping 10 bells at them when they start to create any type of hassle now. So I think their time's done. I think the same group of idiots threw a custard pie at was it the Mona Lisa? Some footage of it somewhere.
Yeah. I saw that.
But that's behind
the Mona Lisa
case anyway.
It's behind like 6 inches of bulletproof glass. That anyway. So all that.
Yeah, it's got a protective cover.
Cleaners a bit pissed off because they got to get custard pie off the bloody glass. It's the only thing that would happen with that. Went to see that as well in April.
Yeah, Mona Lisa attacked by somebody. I think I don't know whether it's. Excuse me, I don't know if it's the same group or not. But just pointless. So they had to shut the exhibit while they scraped off all the custard pie. So
I guess it's just pissing people off because some people that'll be the once in a lifetime opportunity to go and see the Mona Lisa.
Exactly.
Just a fact: in France, they don't call it custard; they call it crème anglaise, which is English cream.
Crème anglaise.
English cream.
Hey, I've got plenty of English cream.
Fromage frais.
Have you ever put it over Mona Lisa?
Hey.
Probably. I didn't realise. Drunken night out. Yeah.
Sure he's heard of Lisa moaning.
Hey. Yeah, let's not go into that one. Anyway,
that's a blast from the past there, isn't it? Good job, them lights are red.
Yep.
Doctor, hello.
And if you're watching this, it's hi, I hope you're well. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on quickly.
Swiftly on.
Right. Yes. Swiftly on. Right then. Strikes. Strikes.
What's happening?
Rail strike.
What's happening in the UK? You turn into France, striking, all of this shit. You're getting your acts together. Well done.
We're going back to the 70s and 80s.
There's always been strikes, hasn't it? Strikes have always been going on. Just now they've
but
it's train drivers.
So you've still got strikes going on, have you?
Just the trains, and it's getting to that point now where the
trains,
public aren't behind, they were behind them, and they're just not backing them anymore. So everyone's just getting pissed off with the
trains, tubes, nurses, junior doctors, everybody. Everyone wants a pay rise. Everyone wants a pay rise.
They do,
and so they should. I mean, the fact that inflation has been over 10-11% for the last 6 months isn't a nurse's fault. It's the fucking government's fault. It's the government's fault allowing big corporations to take the piss out of the general public. And so guess what? Now it's like, well, we can't live. So guess what? We want more money. So we'll strike to get the money. So this one, I'm all behind. This one is for me is a good one.
And with the doctors and the nurses and stuff, the trains not so much.
The trains less so because of
Some
COVID.
of the train drivers earn 60 to 80 grand a year.
It's
not all.
It's not to do with that, though, is it? It's to do with the conditions and everything that's going along with it. Because the pay itself is only part of it, and that's what you see in the headlines. It's to do with the ticket offices going, the safety standards, the taking away of lots of different things, the rewriting of your basically your contract and saying, well, you will work Saturday, Sundays if we tell you to. Well, they didn't sign up for that. They signed up for a certain thing, and they're just ripping it all up.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't just
Saturday, Sunday things and that type of work. You expect it.
Contract's a contract, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I get. Yeah, but I get. They do work that. But I think what they're saying to them is, you will do what we say. Not, you will do it all. You can't turn this down. You can't. I mean, all these are run at the moment on overtime. So all you do is you stop doing overtime. And why are they doing overtime? Because it's cheaper to employ people on overtime than it is to employ full-time people. That's all it is. It's about money.
Yeah.
No, it's not, because they did it in the fire, sir. I mean, I can only relate to that. Is you're supposed to have 5 people on a pump. They're running with 4 at the moment, right? And one of them's on overtime. If you don't have that person wanting to do overtime, you've got 3. If you don't have, then you take the pump off the run, you get less and less. What the easiest thing for the train drivers to do is just say, right, we're not doing any overtime. Right? And then the trains will be cancelled naturally, which they are being done anyway, because they haven't got staff to do that. And that's the point. Employ more people, give them they're not even in the public sector, the train drivers, but we're supplementing the train companies. They're giving out dividends when they're making a loss. How's that possible?
Exactly, and this is what I was going to get to, and also the fact that we can't forget actually how supportive the government was during COVID to people like the train drivers, where they kept them all, they furloughed them all, and they paid them, a wage, and they didn't fire them and everything. They all kept their jobs, so they didn't really work for 18 months, right? And so, and it feels like they've forgotten that. It feels like that.
But they're not employed by the government.
Yeah, but the government subsidised them and subsidised these companies to keep them on the books.
Yes,
to keep them there.
But they also subsidised everybody else, didn't they? Who wasn't working. So
and everybody else who isn't working aren't striking.
But they're all increasing the prices. You try and get a plumber for less than £200 a day these days. They've all put money. They're all getting rises in the. a joiner, I've just had my kitchen done by a friend who's a firefighter. He charged me £150 a day, right? Because I was helping him. A normal joiner's £300 a day now.
Yeah, because they're self-employed, so they can charge what they want. That's a supply and demand thing.
Well, it is. That's a lot to do with Brexit as well. But what I'm saying is they've increased their prices because prices have gone up as well. And so that comes in line with all the other sectors of work you've got to remember, like with doctors, nurses, fire service, police and all that, they had austerity lumped on them in 2009. We didn't get a pay rise for 10 years. 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? A plumber can put his price up today if he wants, the next day, the following day, whatever. We can't just
as I said, we can put the price up. That's market.
But under the austerity thing, the austerity thing to pay back all the private sector debt, banks and everything, we paid all that back. And
that's a very good point, mate.
And now they just want a rise. They just want a rise in line with that. Do you know what I mean? Like the junior doctors.
No, I agree.
But the 35%, everyone goes, you can't have 35%. They're not asking for 35%. They're asking for 10% rise, but they want the 26% they've not had for the last 15 years because they're 35% down on where they should be as a doctor. When you can stack a shelf on the same as a doctor is earning, that's wrong. So striking side of it.
The junior doctors, again, I don't know their experience or how long you train to be a junior doctor. It's like in any business, any kind of professionalism. So if you're an
5 years,
a solicitor,
right, 5 years,
etc.
You have to qualify as a doctor.
When you start off as that,
that's longer than that, isn't it?
But when you start off as one of them,
it's like 7 or 8, I think.
You're on a diabolically shit wage. So
you
it's
are,
a question. Okay, with
a junior doctor,
with a doctor, you earn when you get experienced and past that point. So again, they do need a bit more. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying they are underpaid.
But what I'm saying is, Dave, is that I get that you're all on a lower amount. It's probation period and that. But when that wage has not risen for the last 15 years, you're not on that amount of money. You're on a lot less money.
How much are they on?
16 grand, I think.
I don't think they're. No, I think.
No,
I think they're on about. Are they on about 30,000 before they become qualified?
Yeah, it's between 30 and 35. I think
it might even be less. I don't know. It's not. Whatever it is, I get it, right? But if you over the last since 2009, if they'd have gone up, they wouldn't need to go on strike because they've been given a general increase. Because the austerity thing was a load of shite in all of it. It was crap. It should never have happened. And they've come back and said that now. It was done wrong. All the public sector just got hammered. And now they just want to claw a little bit of it back. Because they're still way down. When I left the job, I was £6,000 worse off than I was in 2010 when I left. That's not right, is it? And now they've clawed a bit of that back by making a pay deal with them. So it's not just about that. It's about then, the conditions and stuff like that. And they'll always say to you, you can have that pay rise, but you've got to fund it. And that just basically means cutting. Just cut everything to pay for it.
That's what they've just done.
Is what they want to do with the NHS, though. Well, what they want to do with the NHS is they want to put it onto its knees so they can privatise it.
Of course they do.
And then they can give contracts to their mates who can then take dividends, and they make everybody pay through their pay packet and a private healthcare on top as well, so their friends can get money.
That's what you do in France, isn't it? Don't they have it in France? Is that you have what's it called? At the door emergency help. But you also have if you need an operation, you've got a second insurance policy.
Yeah, so you get coming out your wage packet a little bit like national insurance. You get that coming out, and then you've got what's called a mutuelle, which is health insurance, which is paid for by your employer. So
it's
your
like
employer,
America.
No, but it's paid for by your employer. It's not paid for by you. The employer pays for your bit, and they have to do that legally. So
if you get taxed on it, though.
You get taxed on it. Yeah, definitely. But if you employ somebody in France, it costs a lot to employ somebody. If you're on, let's say, 20, 30 grand, whatever you're on, the employer basically pays that again in charges to the government. So if you're paying somebody, let's say, 50 grand a year, it's going to cost the company 100 grand a year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking. But when you need it, the healthcare's there and it's good. There's no waiting lists.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, I'll go to the hospital. I'll be treated on Monday.
Yeah.
You know, it's really quick.
When I had my problem with my back before I finished, they said, "Can you not get anything through the fire brigade?" And I said, "No, stop doing it." It would have been cheaper for them in the long run. I only had a year or so to do anyway, but say I had another 10 or 15 years to do, it would have been cheaper for my employer to pay for me to have my operation as soon as possible to recover to go back to work. But they won't do it.
Yeah.
Just won't do it. I just have to go through the system. So the first 6 months, I'm on the sick on full pay. Then I can have another 6 months on half pay. But I probably wouldn't have done that. I'd have gone back and struggled in an office job to be going on modified duties until I could get that operation. And then I've got to recover from that. And then I've got to retrain to get back on the pump. So I could have like 2.5, 3 years out the job on the pump. Not really, not the office job. You just get flirted here, there and everywhere. You won't really be doing anything. It's just somewhere to put you to get your money. Whereas they could get me through the system privately really quick, pay the 8 grand, get me back sorted. I'd be back on the pump in 6 months. Bang. It's false economy. I'm not doing it. So, but going back to the train thing for Big Dave, if you go onto Channel 4, there was a great documentary about a month ago with Ben Elton, who went to see about the privatisation of trains, how much it's costing the government and stuff. And we're actually paying now £60 billion a year to subsidise the train companies more than we had British Rail 30 years ago.
Yeah. And it was, well, that's one part of it, it's cost. So depending on, obviously, all the costs and increases and everything like that, salaries, wages.
It'd be cheaper now to nationalise it.
Yeah. It's the same when they did it with all the gas and energy supplies and everything like that. Same thing they did then when they privatised everything there. It ended up being subsidised for a while and then it settled itself down. So, but I don't think the trains are going to do that because there's no profit in trains at the minute. That's the issue.
No, well, I mean, they had the big issue with like going to Wembley for the football, and they had the train strikes, and it was everyone had to go in the cars, and it was a freaking nightmare to get there and that. Well, obviously everybody did it. But
say Just Stop Oil, Mr. Sitter there again. They could have just stopped it all coming into Wembley.
It didn't make that much of a difference because it costs so much to get on the train anyway. If I could just rock up and get on the I've been on the train to London to Wembley many times where 3/4 of the train's empty. Just let people on for a tenner. It'd be full. It's better to get a tenner than nothing.
You know it's Avanti, isn't it? Avanti are running it now. Whereas when Virgin were running it, 'cause used to get train to London quite a bit.
It was cheap.
It was a hell of a lot better. It was cheaper. The trains were full, and they all ran on time.
Yeah.
Now with Avanti, you get there and 3 trains in a row was cancelled because there's nobody on the train.
Why did they change?
I think they lost a contract. Virgin lost a contract, I think, for whatever reason. Don't know why. I'm guessing Avanti come up with a better price. No. But now, because nobody's using the Avanti trains, they're empty. So when there's less than 10% of people on the seat sold on that train, they'll just cancel the train.
So the strike shouldn't make that much difference anyway, because no fuck is using it.
Not if you go into. I think it's the strikes that are affecting people are the local commuters. That's where it's affecting, not the distance travelers.
They've never been good anyway, have they? Do you know what I mean? They're always overcrowded or dangerously overcrowded as well.
Yeah, some of them are, especially in summer. When I did my wristing, you had to get the train into work for a while, and you're literally just forcing yourself onto a train. But yeah, it's just been run into the ground, I think, the trains.
HS2 will solve it all, not.
Oh yeah, HS2 will. It's going to come along and solve everything. And
do not get me started on fucking HS2.
Again,
what a waste of money.
Right.
It's only going to Birmingham. It's been cancelled from Birmingham to Manchester now.
Why?
And money
cost,
spiraling cost,
and it's been cancelled from Birmingham to Leeds as well. So there was meant to be
the Northern Powerhouse is the Midlands.
Well, yeah, but it's not even then because it's missing out. Well, thank God it's missing out the Midlands, because it was going to be so disruptive. It was just going to cut through towns and cities, like just fucking indiscriminately. It was so badly done.
It's got to go past your
but the costs have gone so much. Well, no, it was about 2 miles towards the motorway. It was going to pass. It was so we wouldn't have heard it or seen it, but it wasn't far from. It actually cut through one of the estates of where I lived. It actually cut through a housing estate. Fuck it, like we'll just buy it all. Don't care. It's just what, like, this is taxpayers' money. You're doing ridiculous things with taxpayers' money, and you're not being held responsible for it. And pissed me off. HS2 pissed me off. We don't need trains that go north to south. We need trains that go east to west. That's what we need. If you get on a train from, let's say, here to Manchester, it takes nearly 2.5 hours. I can get to London halfway back in the time it takes me to get from Nottingham to Manchester. It's ridiculous.
It takes about,
it's like a 40-mile journey.
That's the thing with the NHS.
Yeah.
Because there was just so much money being wasted on the NHS.
It's ridiculous.
That's why they got no money to pay anybody. It's a new guy I used to know in the past.
Money
in
government is everywhere. It's all being wasted.
Yeah, he was a finance director in the NHS.
It's all being wasted everywhere in government.
And he was saying that there was one point he did an audit, and one of the trusts were paying £26 for staplers, for a stapler.
That's due with the PFI that Tony Blair brought in, though, in '97.
So you have to have so many.
Yeah,
suppliers.
And I get that because of the backhanders, the brown envelopes. But it's got ridiculous that we had a guy at work. His laptop broke, so he needed a new laptop. So he went to PC World, 400 quid for this laptop. So he went back and he phoned up HQ, IT or whatever, and said, "Oh, I need to get this laptop. Can I get 400 quid? I used the credit card." IT straight off, you can't do that. You've got to order it from us. £1,200 it was.
Yeah.
For the same laptop. You're like, well, that's not right, is it?
No, and there was one case where the hospital had some land. So they sold this land to build flats. These flats are supposed to go to nurses, like trainee nurses, etc. So they went 50-50 with local builder. So what some bright spark at the NHS Trust did was they agreed in the contract that after a certain date, the NHS would cover any costs of the rental to the builder. So the thing was, it was got to build them, rent them out. Builder gets 50%, NHS gets 50% of the rents. But what they did in the contract was somebody in the NHS agreed was that if the flats were empty by such a date, then the NHS will cover the builder's 50% of the rent. So all the builder did was took absolutely fucking ages to build these apartments and these flats. It was supposed to do 2 years. They did it in like 8 years. And for 6 years, the NHS were giving him 50% of the rent on buildings that they couldn't even rent out.
And that person will have moved on.
Yeah.
That's one of my issues I used to have.
Would have gone over to the fire.
Well, they create something and then they move on, and they're not there to, when it all goes wrong, is then be accountable for it because they've moved to a different section.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm older than you guys. I was in the military, and they bought a computer system in 1994. And the idea was whether it was supposed to come through with information for weather and stuff like that. And then they decided they'd add something else to it. So they didn't buy a bespoke system. They bought a system and then wanted to add stuff to it. They were doing training on it in 1994. And they tried to train me on it. I was going, it's not working. It's not working. He said, oh, yeah, we're adjusting it. I left in 2000. That system never worked in them 6 years. And apparently 4 years later, it got binned, and it cost them millions, and it never worked, ever. But the person who instigated it, they didn't get accountable for it because it was probably some officer who, in the Air Force, certainly, they probably were a pilot, and then they get so high that they're not pilots anymore. They become admin people, but they're not trained in admin or accountancy. They've got the rank, so they're put in that position. So they just sign stuff off. They don't know what they're doing. They waste millions. Challenger tanks and all that. Apparently, years ago in the army, the same thing. They built loads of tanks and they weren't working. Just wrote it off. Billions of pounds.
Same thing. That's it is, and that's what happens in NHS.
Don't talk to me about the MOD and things at the moment. I've fucking had enough of them. They are just beyond help. They're beyond help. All right, I don't want to talk about work because I work with the MOD. They're a fucking nightmare. I've had enough. Basically, I've actually had enough public sector. I'm bored of trying to help people and them not want it because they think they know better or because there's a political agenda behind it or whatever the fuck it is. I don't care. I'm bored. You just fucking carry on being shit. So I'm done with it. So
business politics anyway.
I'm basically changing my role as of next year, so I don't give a shit anymore. So
in the private sector though, Cole, because I've never really worked in that, if that sort of thing went on, what would happen to that person? They get sacked, wouldn't they?
They'd be fired. They'd be fired immediately. Yeah. They'll find someone else to come in and take over.
They move them sideways and they get promoted.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
No. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? In the MOD, in NHS, and all of them, there's nobody there accountable in the business, in the private sector. It's the shareholders, it's the board of directors, it's whoever it is at the top. And they're the ones who hold everybody else accountable in the NHS, in the other government-backed organisations, I want to say, because I'm not thinking straight, because I've just been drinking 48.2% whiskey. But there's nobody there who's holding them accountable for it. So like you say, so people do, and then because such a body likes such a body, they go, all right, well, you step over there for my mate, stay there for a bit, and then we'll promote you in about a year's time. Whereas in the private sector, because you're answerable to that board of directors, you're answerable to the shareholders, they'll go, no, get rid of them. They're done.
Yeah, but you still got a problem.
It's still a problem, but then you bring somebody else in to sort it, don't you?
The Manchester bombing, I won't name names in case they're watching it on here, there were people in that night who should not even be in that job anymore. They got moved sideways and they've gone up the ladder, so to speak. They should not anywhere near it because they didn't do the job on the night. And that was shown at the inquiry that certain individuals, shithouses, basically. And the chief was one of them, and he's long gone now, and he disappeared and then come back crying, you know what I mean, and then fucked him off again. So it's stuff like that really wound me up. It was out of order that night, you know what I mean? So, but they're still in the job.
There's something going on at the moment where in an area I'm working on, the MOD, and there are two people in charge of a particular part of the MOD. I'm not going to talk about it, but they are performing badly, and it has a knock-on effect for this particular part of the MOD. And everyone knows they're shit at their jobs. Everyone knows that they're not doing a good job, and one of them will probably be retired early, given a lump sum. The other one will be promoted into a role, or a sideways role, because of some of the promotion rules and laws that sit around where that person is.
Slowly giving it away now. It's like
but is it a she? Anyway. Is it a she or is it a they?
Don't get me started on that either. But anyway, that's the way the work for the public sector is done. So that the issue that you have people that are shit at their job but are rewarded for it, or you have people that don't take any risk because they don't want to be put in that position. So it's full of people that are just so risk averse that they get nothing done, and they'll, with an officer will sit in role for 3 years, a post for 3 years, and then he'll rotate out. And so they'll come in, they'll spend 18 months spending lots of money with, a consultancy company like Deloitte or EY or Accenture or whatever else, and they'll do a great job delivering a piece of work, and then that piece of work will be thrown in the bin by the next person that comes in, because they want to do it their way. So it's just this perpetual waste of money and getting nothing done, and it continues to this day. And I've dealt with the MOD for 27 years or whatever, and it's still the same shit. Every day is the same day, and I'm bored of it now. Bored of it's Groundhog Day. I'm bored of trying to help them and they're not listening to me. So
MOD procurement is renowned worldwide for being incredibly shit. Because basically what you do is you look at the UK Army, what are they doing, and you do the opposite. You do a reverse Kramer on them. pretty much that's what you do with the UK.
But it's who they put in charge, isn't it? So, like I was saying before, in the military, certainly on the Air Force side of it, you get to a certain rank where you don't fly planes, and it's specifically officers and stuff like that. They obviously the flyers get the higher ranks, so they end up going into those top jobs. Your Air Vice Marshal has never been, a pen pusher. He's started as a flyer somewhere, or something to do with flying. But as they get higher up, it doesn't mean that they're good at flying. It doesn't mean they're good at the other stuff. And they just stick them in that job, and they go,
I totally agree.
You can fly that F-35 really fast, but we want you to deal with this computer system that deals with air traffic or supply. And he goes, okay, I'll do that because it's his next rank. He hasn't a clue what he's doing. He just signs stuff, and someone under him goes, yeah, sir, because he wants to look good. You need to do this, sign it. And it just carries on and on and on. It's just like, it doesn't work.
I know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But it's systemic. Systemic.
Yeah.
So you do get it in businesses.
Anyway,
I've seen it in some businesses where that happens, where it is all jobs for the boys and it's the wrong people in the wrong roles, and sooner or later it implodes. But unfortunately, like I say, with the MOD, with the Army, Navy, etc., it's just an endless pot of money there. So we don't rectify it. Whereas with businesses, they have to rectify it, or it completely fucks up the business.
Yep. And they don't honor or promote poor behavior. They cut it out like a cancer, right?
Yeah, if you get fired, job A, if you go for another job, they're going to go, what happened at the last one? Why were you fired, or why did you leave? But in the MOD or fire, I'm assuming the police and the NHS are probably the same. It's because you're in that bubble, you don't go for something, you just get moved sideways, and your mate promotes you. Certainly in where with us, because we're in different parts of Manchester, he's always said that if you're an idiot, if you get promoted, you need to move to the other side of Manchester so they don't know you're an idiot. Because if you stay where you are, everyone goes, that dickhead's been promoted. I'm not taking any notice of him. Do you know what I mean? So you need to move.
And it just pisses everybody off.
Then you go I mean, I'm out of it now, so it doesn't bother me anymore. It used to a lot, but the people I know who I get told about who are getting promoted now, and I'm just like, fucking hell, thank God I'm not in there anymore, because I'd just be, I get sacked. I would, because I just say, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So, they're glad to see I'm a dinosaur, you see, so they're glad to get rid of people like me.
Just out of interest, was the computer systems you was learning on in 1994, the BBC ones that you could play that awesome game on? What was it called? It used to play in school.
Elite.
No, it's like a dragon one. You had to do all the puzzles, and at the end of it, you had to kill a dragon. I can't remember what it's called. It'll pop in my head later. It's a brilliant game.
That's the one they have in the special class, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, where you sat there, you just learning how to press keys.
You didn't have like a thing on your head, did you?
I've got on my hair, I just rubbed it all off.
He used to have his hands tied behind his back and just pencil like that.
Like I'm giving me microphone head then.
I think it's officially called a unicorn pointer.
Okay.
There you go.
I miss the 1980s, and I miss the 1980s. I mean, shows like Blue Peter that had Joey Deacon on, they were brave enough to bring Joey on, for Joey to flick his shoe into the lake, things like that. It's just some classic TV moments like that I do miss. Don't miss Jimmy Savile that much, but
I was going to say that, but they did have Jimmy Savile on and people like that, so tomato.
Exactly. Right. So what do we have then? We had oil dickheads, we had strikes, wokeness.
I tell you what, though, we're getting through these subjects a lot quicker than usual.
That's because Dave's not here to talk about Tesco Isles.
Tesco Isles and shitting himself.
Dave nearly had a shitting incident in Paris today. I said,
Maori Dave, let's just clear up. Which
yeah,
Dave?
Yeah, Maori Dave. Yeah. I said to him, do you fancy...
he called himself Diamond D last time he came on, so yeah.
I said, what are you up to, Dave? Do you want to meet up for a beer or something like that? He goes, oh, I said, got a message from him saying, I'm on my way back to the hotel. I'm about to shit my pants and I need to get back to a toilet that I know or something like
Back to a toilet that I know.
Something like that. So
I'm pretty sure there's a song. I'm sure there's a song for that.
So
there'll be a shitting yourself song on YouTube somewhere.
Apparently, Nat said to him, I was really hoping you were going to shit your pants, and then you'd have another story.
It's got enough already. So what's everybody drinking tonight anyway? What we all on?
It's a great question, mate. Before we start on the
Cabernet Sauvignon. I've got into red wine.
Ooh.
Doesn't give me a hangover.
Casa Diablo. Diablo.
Doesn't give you a hangover? Jesus.
No.
I'm on a bit of Bordeaux. Bit of a dodgy name. Large Malatic. Having it large. No idea. It's a Bordeaux. It's a 2021, so it's a cheap one.
Mine is 2021 as well. Chilly though.
I'm on. Well, on my final one actually. I've got some free samples. Oh crap! My battery's running out. I'm on some free samples. So I went to a awards networking thing and Insider magazine stuff. There's a business there called Great Drams Whisky Place, and he sent me some samples across. So
he's pissed. He's told
us
this.
Nice. That's one of them. I've already had 3 of them. Let me just see if I can get it on.
That's a nice segue, Dave. If any whiskey manufacturers would like to send their samples to us, we are very happy to try. Oh, wine, exactly. And we are very happy to try them. Yeah. Exactly.
But they do specialty bottles. So they only make like 500 bottles of one or 75 bottles or something. But they do like company logos and branding and stuff like that. So there you go. I'm just plugging them just in case they do decide to sponsor us and go, there you go. For your three people that watch you, there you go. We'll send you some free samples of whiskey.
Right, can I just say, can we do a Christmas one? If we don't do anything else before then, can we do a proper Christmas one where we try shit?
We'll do. We should do this more often. I know we've not done it for a while, but we should get into a rhythm of doing it, and we'll gain a little fan base like we did with.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to turn my camera off for 1 second. I need to plug my charger in. 1 sec.
Oh, hey, I see that extreme close up. BD, Big Dave.
But we could do like a mince pie. You'll struggle, Dave, won't you, to get them over there? Different ones like Morrison's.
Mince pies.
We'll ship you some. We'll ship you some.
Yeah. Well, I'll be over. Well, actually, Cole, I might be over at yours this Christmas. Is that all right?
Yeah, we need to talk about it, but yeah, it's fine.
Good. Okay, because I need to book the tunnel.
Yes. Okay. Well, we'll take it offline. We'll take it offline. We'll chat about what we're gonna do, and then we can do one when Dave's there. Hooray! That'd be good. Or maybe we can all get together and do one. Do like a all live together tape test one. That'd be nice.
That'd be all right. And drink.
That'd be good. Hey, what are you doing, Big Dave? Big Dave, what are you doing?
Passed out with that whiskey.
All we can hear is like
he's having a fight with himself. That whiskey's too strong. I can hear the banging, can you?
It sounded like I was just like falling off my chair. Oh, I've got to do my job, and I was like, it's a good job I weren't swearing and slagging people off. All right, back in the room.
I've just turned the sound down on the TV downstairs. Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
His battery's run out.
Battery's gone.
He'll be back. Anyway, right. So what am I drinking? I'm on. Let me can see this. I'm on. It's Uru or Urdu. It's
your camera's in mirror mode.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
is that a whiskey?
I will. It is a whiskey. Ururu means freedom in Swahili and aims to celebrate African nature and the animal's right to freedom. It is a perfect introduction to Scottish whiskey. Beautifully light. It's not that light, actually. It's okay. A perfect mix of smoke and cinnamon intertwined with notes of caramelized almonds. Enjoy the cream soda. Enjoy with cream soda? What? Enjoy with cream soda and a wedge of pink grapefruit. Now, that actually leads us beautifully onto wokeism, because no way on earth would you ever drink fucking whiskey with cream soda, you fucking idiots. I had no idea. Cream fucking soda? Why would you put cream soda in whiskey?
Chuck it out the skylight, Carl.
In the bin. I just opened it as well. In the bin. Big Dave's back. Hang on. Here he is.
Yeah. Sorry, I plugged my laptop charger in and forgot to turn the plug on. So it just went, ooh, plunged into darkness.
It looks like Dave.
While I'm on about these whiskies.
Looks like one of them ISIS videos, doesn't it? You know his camera? It's like a guy behind you with a big knife.
He needs to shave his moustache off, doesn't he? Dave, go shave your moustache off.
Death to you all.
I've just tried one of these whiskies and put some cream soda with it. It's really, really nice.
Is he lagging? You've missed the B out.
Oh crap!
I do.
Come on. You know I'm woke. I can't do offensive words like a dollar.
Oh, dear. Oh, tell you what, I got sent a. Do you get? I'm on a group which is called Not Soft for CUNTS, and they just send anything on these videos. And I got one from. I'm sure it's like it's a cartel thing in Colombia with this guy. If you get a video, right, and there's a load of guys in paramilitary stuff, and guy knelt down, don't watch it. Just don't watch it. I've seen some shit, but that's pretty bad. I can't believe you can do that to somebody.
Anything, it's cartels. Anything to do with cartels, it's insane. Yeah. It's inhumane and it's insane. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm just going to go and shout at my children. 1 second.
No. It's like all the things you see on the films and what they do on there, and like Sicario and all those types of films. A lot of stuff that they do is actually based on what they actually do.
Hey, this video, I've seen
horrible things.
Stuff from like the Chechen war and that, and it's nothing in comparison to this. I've seen it. I was like, at first, because it come on, I was like, I couldn't understand what they were saying, because obviously it's in whatever it is, but it must be that the cartels.
There you go. Children shouted it.
And they get this guy, and I'm just like, why would you do that? I get what they're doing it for, because it's a message, but to actually do that to somebody, I'm just like, you must be not right. You know what I mean? It's just like,
oh, they're not right.
Just kill the guy.
Mate, they're not right. I mean, Mexico, the cartels are fighting with the national army.
Yeah,
they're fighting and winning against the Mexican army. They're insane. It's all insane.
A lot of them are because a lot of them in the favelas and everything. It's all kids that are brought up from 10, 11 who haven't got anything. Yeah. Who are brought up and they're bred to be that way.
I wouldn't even
just bred
what
to
they did to this
soulless monster.
What they did to this guy.
Moscow Mule, Dave.
About doing to him. Do you know what I mean? It's
is.
just like, why? Who thought that up? Mental.
No, mate. Have you watched? On topic. Have you watched the Colombian and Mexican Netflix series? Is the Pablo Escobar series? I forgot what it's called.
Narcos.
And the
Narcos.
What's it called?
Narcos.
Yeah, Narcos. Thank you. Yeah. Have you watched it? Yeah.
That is the first 2 seasons, but I didn't watch the Mexican third season. I've not watched that all.
Just as good.
Yeah.
Just as good, and follows real life timeline and everything. It's really good. It's really good. It's the killing of what's he called? The DEA agent. So there was like an unwritten rule.
Yeah, you did kill him. Yeah.
you just didn't kill the DAA, right? You might, you pay them off or you warn them or whatever, but you don't kill them. And they took it too far and killed this guy. Next minute this is what started the whole, the whole thing, the whole war on drugs with Reagan and everything. I can't think what the guy's name was. But it's a real famous story from that era. But I mean, that is good TV. That whole series is good. The Mexican one is really good, really good.
Yeah, I think I watched about 3 or 4 episodes, and because they were going from marijuana, weren't they? They were doing marijuana, and then they went into cocaine because the Mexicans linked up with Colombians to get the cocaine across, and then.
Oh, he linked it with Pablo.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
With Pablo, yeah. But Pablo got greedy and didn't, and basically backed out on his promise, and then they went over to Pablo's rivals, and then that created like a little war and stuff between everybody, and everyone got in trouble, and then they did it on their own. They started doing all the cocaine on their own, and they weren't getting in from Colombia anymore. They were just doing their own, which is where this drug issues come from in Mexico now. So, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the story about this, the story.
The Narcos we was talking about.
Narcos, yeah.
My internet dropped for a second.
Do you know what the guy was called in Narcos?
Which one?
Yeah, the real guy. I mean, I'll Google it. No, not Pablo Escobar. The Mexican one. Narco.
Are they actually producing their own now? Because I knew at one point all the wars and everything was doing Mexico because basically that was the country that all funneled through, wasn't it, from South America? So they controlled everything coming through from everywhere in South America.
Trying to think. Kiki Camara. That was the name of the DEA agent, Kiki. Yeah, I should have known that, Dave.
They called him Kiki.
Apparently, he loved to dance.
They love to dance. Kiki loves to dance.
Kiki loves to dance.
Coincidence.
What's a coincidence? Exactly. Yeah. If we weren't on YouTube, I'd play it, but we're on YouTube, so I'll get struck off. Anyway.
What for playing coincidence?
Yeah, because it's copyright. Any music is copyright. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It has to be royalty-free music.
Save it for karaoke then.
Ridiculous.
I've got my keyboard here. I'll just like do the one out on the way out.
Ross Out with Friends version of Kiki Coincidence.
That's brilliant. At the end. Exactly. Right, wokey. Actually, interestingly enough, the whole wokey thing, Friends got attacked, didn't they?
Yeah.
It got
yeah.
So it was a bit obviously Friends never went away, right? Friends in the UK has been on repeat for the last 20 years. Yeah. And continues to be on repeat for the last 20 years. And Friends is brill, and it's not offensive. Blah blah blah. I don't care what you say. I mean, it's fucking Friends, right? It's like run-of-the-mill sitcom, right? American run-of-the-mill sitcom. It's not offensive. Anyway, the woke brigade decided that they would go off and attack it, so it became popular again in the UK and in the US, and people were going, "Oh, this is racist. This is homophobic. This is whatever it is."
Yeah, they were saying it was homophobic. Yeah.
They were saying it was like a big homophobic thing, like, "Oh, are you gay?" or "Oh yeah, Chandler's gay," or it was just a running joke that he was gay because he was feminine. So what, right? It was just it was a running joke, and it's like, "Oh, well, I took offense to that." It's like, why do you take offense to that? Chandler should take offense to that, not fucking you. What are you on about?
Yeah, it was taking offense to the way Joey is with women and that kind of thing as well, weren't they?
Yeah. How you doing? I just think it's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous.
You're offended. That's over it.
I think you've hit you hit the nail on the head. Now, if you're offended, you've got to stop offending people. But people don't offend people. People act offended themselves. Mm-hmm. So that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, and you've got to be an arrogant fuck to go through your life thinking you shouldn't be offended the whole of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, how do you get change? How do you get things working if people aren't offended? Obviously, there's extremes to being offended, but...
I find a comment from Stephen Fry.
Oh, yeah, the famous one. You're offended. Yeah. Or what?
Yeah, here we go. Let me put it on the screen. You probably can't see that, so let me zoom in. Now you can see that. It's now very common to hear people say, I'm rather offended by that, as if it gives them certain rights. It's actually nothing more than a whine. I find that offensive. It has no meaning. Oh, read and discover more. I don't want to discover. Thank you.
Continue with Amazon.
No, I will not. Sorry, Amazon. I find that offensive. It has no meaning. It has no purpose. It has no reason to be respected as a phrase. I'm offended by that. Well, so fucking what?
Good old Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry, exactly. Last bastion of normality, methinks.
If you had a dinner party, Stephen Fry would definitely be on the.
Without a doubt. That's a great question, Dave.
Yeah.
Great question.
Who would you have?
Yeah. Who would I have? I would Stephen Fry, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would I have?
The guy with the curly hair off QI with Stephen Fry, just so them two can bounce off each other.
What's he
Alan
called?
Davis.
Alan Davis. Yeah.
Wanker.
So he's not going to yours then?
No.
It's not a Rob's dinner table.
There's not a Rob's dinner table.
I'd
have Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, I thought.
Oh yeah. Stephen Fry and Ricky Gervais together would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. Those two would just put the worlds to rights. It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. And I've from a football perspective, I'd have Bobby Robson. I think I'd like to spend a night with Bobby Robson. That'd be pretty cool.
Spend the night.
Obviously from Newcastle.
Rosa Parks as well.
I'm offended by that. Spend the night.
An evening. Dinner evening, isn't it? I'd spend an evening with Bobby Robson. That'd be fantastic. Talking about England, he managed England, talking about Newcastle, talking about Barcelona and everything, and because it's amazing. Because was it Guardiola that taught it was Guardiola, wasn't it? You learned under Bobby Robson.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it was Johan Cruyff was director of football at the time, and he brought I think he played under Robson, but he didn't learn anything off Robson. I don't think he didn't learn. Okay. He learned the game off Cruyff, really. That's how he learned the total
if he played
football.
Under Robson, you would have learned something from him if he was managing him.
Yeah, but I think the total football came from Cruyff, didn't it? The Cruyff era at Barcelona of how he played and when he was a manager at Barca, and he learned under him. And basically, Bobby Robson was a manager there, but I don't think he played past 32 or something like that, 30-ish. He went into coaching quite early, Guardiola. So yeah,
he did. Yeah.
His total football was off Cruyff. That's all he learned. And I've watched things with him about it, and it's learned a lot of it off other sports. So basketball, he learned obviously everyone goes on about playing in triangles in football. Everyone's had that from a kid. Play a triangle. That's all he does. He plays in triangles. He plays in triangles. That's all he does. But he took it from. I was watching the thing on the Michael Jordan Netflix thing. They took it from basketball. He learned from basketball as well about how they played that system at the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, about always having somebody available or two people available for a pass. And it confused the other teams because usually you always thought it was going there, and they kept moving and moving and moving and moving into these spaces. And Guardiola took that with Cruyff, and I remember watching something when he first come to City because obviously nobody understood how it was played, and they were saying how they're playing the lines, but they're playing these boxes within them lines, and that's where the players go, and they all know where to be at a certain point when everybody's somewhere.
Yeah,
that's how he does it. Yeah. That's why. When you first get a player at City, I mean, I don't know about other teams, but with Guardiola, the first season's usually crap because they can't get the rhythm of the team. Like Grealish,
this is what Grealish was saying, wasn't he? Yeah,
Grealish didn't get it because Grealish was used to just being allowed to do what he wanted, and he went, "No, you can't do that. You've got to do this, and that will come." And his second season was off the scale, and some can get it. I mean, Haaland's a bit different because Haaland just has to score goals. He just has to be where he is, but the other people have to find him. They weren't used to that, and then they found that after about 3 or 4 months, found him, and bang, the rest is history on that score. And you've got other players coming in now, who like Chelnik, whatever he's called, come from Chelsea. He won't get it. He won't get it the first season. He might get it the second season. It's just about learning from him but he learned it from other sports. He said that he learned from basketball about certain systems, and he implemented it into football.
Yeah, the zonal play from basketball. Has anybody read that? Yeah. Seen the series on the Chicago Bulls? That's a good series.
On Netflix one.
Yeah, the Netflix one. And then there's the book as well, the championship book, where the coach basically writes about his style, and that's like a really good book on leadership. Really,
so is it the one about Michael Jordan then, or is it?
It's about the team. So it's about the Chicago Bulls team. Obviously, Michael Jordan's a big part of it, but it's all about the other ones. It's like with Rodman. You know, the way they coached Rodman, like he was saying. So like for part of it, you knew with Rodman, the type of person that he is, you had to let him have a blowout, and you had to let him just disappear to Las Vegas and just go.
I was going to say he went to Vegas, didn't he, for about 5 days?
Yeah, he said, but you had to let him do it, because otherwise he'd just implode on the game. And if you want the best out of him, you had to let him go and have this fucking wild bender.
He's a wild character, though, isn't he?
Yeah, like, really wild.
Proper chummy with King Jong-un, isn't he? You know.
Yeah.
Like North Korea and stuff.
Yeah, it's bizarre. That
is weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
It's all the fucking drugs he's done, probably.
Who, King Jong-un?
Yeah. We've seen those.
Yeah. You don't know, do you? You don't know, do you?
Because he banned dogs, didn't he? It's one thing that came out that I read about. So he decided, King Jong-un.
Yeah.
So he decided that family. No, Dennis Rodman hates dogs. No, he decided that families that have dogs are too Western, and it's the Western way of living. So he banned domesticated dogs. So basically, the whole of the country had to cull all the domesticated dogs.
Yeah, they just wanted to eat them. Come on.
Yeah, not barbecues at weekend.
Justification for eating them. Yeah.
Just wanted to eat the dogs.
But no. What are we on anyway? Wokey. Come on, Carl. Get your frustrations out about 20-year-olds on the dance floor.
Well, it's not. That's just like the icing on the cake. This whole thing, but so I've sort of not recently, but the last sort of 6 months, I've gone onto Instagram. Jem convinced me to go onto Instagram because she's always on it, and I'm like, why do you like Instagram so much? She was, it's like you can curate your own magazine, so you can get feeds and you can get interested in things that you like, and then you can decide whether you like that person talking about fashion or food or whatever, or you bin them off, and you can decide. So you can sort of curate your own feed, and I'm thinking, that sounds quite interesting. So cars, funny shit, politics and stuff. It's stuff I'm interested in, right? And so I did that, and I've started to actually go in and read the comments from people. So I don't know why. I think
read like the comments.
Twitter, don't read it.
Oh no,
I'm there for the comments.
Yeah, no, exactly. But so
wind you up, doesn't it?
Right, brilliant. Twitter. You know what I'm like on Twitter because of the Great Escape stuff, right? So
I've been banned
all over Twitter, right? And I'm on Twitter hardly any now because I just got bored of people. Twitter is a bar fight. It's a social media bar fight, Twitter, right? It's as simple as that. Where Instagram is far more woke, right? So you go on there, and there was a woman that posted a video of her sleeping in her child's cot with her child. Right? It's like, and so everyone was like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. That child is probably over a year old. You shouldn't be doing that. And basically people laying into her for blood orange. Very nice.
It's nice for whiskey. It's like a cheap man's old fashioned.
As long as it's not cream soda, all right. So, or Coke, Dave.
Yeah. I am on a mixable whiskey. It's not like one of the great.
Yeah, good.
It's a mixable whiskey.
Totally acceptable. Anyway, long story short, I personally think this woman was wrong. A lot of other people did. Next minute, the woke brigade came out and were like just giving it big time. I can't even remember what it was about. But that's actually, it's probably a shit example. There's other examples of, it was Martin Brundle. So Martin Brundle is the Sky F1 lead commentator, pundit, whatever you want to call him.
Hold on. Is it the one where he said to her, "Are you going to say something?" And she didn't, and he walked away and he went, "Oh, you probably wouldn't have been interested anyway." Was it that one?
Yeah. He's done that. He's done that a few times. But apparently, if they are on the grid and they get stopped by the press, they are, I think, some contractual thing. They have to say hello and they have to talk to them, right? And she did not. I forgot who it was. Some actress model, fucking stuck up cow, didn't want to speak to Martin Brundle. Martin Brundle said, "Well, if you're on the grid, you should be speaking to me as to say, I'm going to remind you of why you're here and why your obligation when you're on the grid." She didn't want to do it, and she had like all her team around her going, "Oh no, she's not speaking today." It's like, and then he said, "Yeah, probably wouldn't have been interested anyway." So it sort of went a bit viral on Instagram where it was like, "Oh, I can't believe someone has blanked Martin again." And everyone was saying, "Well, leave her alone. She doesn't have to speak to that person." It's like, actually, you're wrong. She does contractually. She's obliged to speak with anyone on the grid from a press perspective. That's the reason why you're there. It's not fucking jolly. And so there was a big old bar fight on Instagram about, "Oh, well, she's not obliged to do that. She's an independent woman. She can decide what she wants to do herself." Thinking, fuck off. No, she's not. She's fucking freeloading. And then there was a whole debate around. They should be inviting real F1 fans onto the grid and having conversations. Next minute, who's the Eurovision Song Contest fella? What's he called?
Which one? The bearded.
Oh, he was really good, wasn't he? Sam Summit.
Sam Ryder. So Sam Ryder won, came second, won the Eurovision Song Contest for the UK the year before last, whatever it was. And Martin Brundle spotted. He was like the next person he saw on the grid. Martin Brundle spotted him, and he was like, "Oh, Martin, brilliant! Oh, it's an honor. Thanks for stopping me on the grid." And he was like, "Oh, this is nice. It's a bit humble." It's like, this and that. And he had a perspective. He was like, "Yeah, I think the McLarens are going to do really well today. They've done this, and they've changed the aero kit on it, and they've done that, and they've moved this down, and it was like he was really knowledgeable, right? Really, like proper F1 fan." I'm like, go Sam Ryder. And he was like really lovely. He's like, "Martin, an absolute honor. Thank you very much for letting me talk and everything." He was like saying, "I am home." And he was like, just being dead nice and everything. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, that is brilliant. Why everyone should be like Sam Ryder on the grid, right? You shouldn't be like on the grid.
He's a nice guy, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. Yeah. Really lovely.
Seems a genuine bloke.
No idea who you're talking about.
Really nice guy.
Honestly, it just seems genuine guy.
Look up Sam Ryder F1 grid, Martin Brundle, and you'll see the interview. I can't show it because I'm on YouTube, so I can't show it.
In lockdown, he did a load of stuff in his garage on TikTok, and he ended up coming second to Ukraine, obviously, last year in Eurovision. He did Rocket Man. I've heard it. Rocket Man.
He's really good. He's a good.
He's really good. He's very.
Yeah.
Oh no! All right. No, he did something called Rocket or Man, didn't he?
Rocket Man's Elton John.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure he sang something similar, something to do with the moon. I don't fucking know. But anyway, he's a nice guy.
Something to do with moon.
Yeah, nice guy. Came on the grid, spoke to Martin, had a lovely time. Came across on TV like a real lovely bloke, and I'm thinking that was ace. And it was not a lot of effort. There was no effort from him. He was just being a nice guy, and then he got his fucking stuck up bitch. I don't know who she was, and she was just embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And
just Googled him, and I don't know him.
It was
the colour of his beard, though.
He's got hair as well.
It was Venus Williams. About 3 years ago, Venus Williams was on the grid, and she had a fucking massive entourage of knobheads around her. And Martin managed to sneak his way in and go, "Oh, Martin Brundle, Sky F1. Can you give us gives a few words of why you're here and who you're rooting for?" And she just turned away and ignored him. And then her entourage were like, "Oh no, she's not talking on the grid today," type of thing. It's like, what? And so Martin didn't have no for an answer. He asked another question. She just fucking blanked him and asked another question. Next minute, he's like getting pushed away from her and stuff. Thinking, who the fuck are you?
You don't know. She might have been having a bad day. You don't know.
Fuck you, Dave.
That's a celebrity, though, isn't it?
That is
wokeness. It's celebrityism.
That is. And there was another, because I'm a big F1 fan, so there's another incident where Who was it? I can't remember who it was, but Martin wanted to get a quick 1 minute with them. And again, security entourage wouldn't allow him to do it. So Jackie Stewart saw what was going on. Jackie Stewart went, I'll go and get him. And basically hopped underneath this like barrier and shot off to get this celebrity to come over to say hello to Martin. And this guy's security like basically jumped all over Jackie Stewart. Like Sir Jackie Stewart, triple world champion, like legend of F1. And these little fucking knobheads who have no idea who Jackie Stewart is were like treating him like he's some leper off the street type of thing. It's like, what? Anyway, Jackie fucking got him, grabbed him, dragged him over. I can't remember who it is. I'll look it up in a second, but I can't remember who it was. But it's like, yeah, go Jackie type of thing. So like, when there was again outrage of, did they not know fucking know this guy's like godlike? He's like an F1 god. What you don't, who are these people?
I think a lot of the time,
they're just going there to be seen, though.
Sometimes it's not the celebrity because a lad I knew again in the fire brigade. He's a really good driver, and any advert you see with Thierry Henry in, he's his double. That's what he does. He gets employed. Yeah. So a few years ago, he did. There was a driving series that you've never seen. It's never been heard because it was. They took, I think it was 10 drivers from around the world, stunt drivers, etc., really good drivers, and they put them in a competition, and they went all over the world. So, like for example, the first one might have been, where they'll drive through a load of cones and then spin it and stuff and stop like that, and they got eliminated as they went on about how good they were. So he went to Los Angeles.
It's like the Scandinavian driving test, then.
Yes, yeah, that sort of thing. So he came second in the world. He was up against stunt drivers, women and men. In fact, one of the women who got knocked out about halfway through, she now drives for Ford in rallies and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stunt drivers in it and things like that. Anyway, he came second in it. Unfortunately, it never got aired by Sky because one of the contestants got done for something that was, if it came out, would be in the news, and they just say, so it never got aired.
Not worth the risk.
Not worth the risk of them ever playing it. So anyway, long story short, from that, he does a lot of jobs. So he works for like Renault. When you see Thierry Henry driving, it's his face. But when you see another shot, because this guy's black, he does the other stuff. And he works for a company who did, I don't even remember, a couple of years ago, before, I think it was the Silverstone Grand Prix, Maverick was coming out, Top Gun Maverick, and Tom Cruise was in it. And Tom Cruise was doing a driving scene with Coulthard and all them, and they were driving each other on the thing. And he was part of all that, driving for Tom Cruise and stuff. And they said, you're not allowed to talk to Tom Cruise. Can't look him in the eye. Can't approach Tom Cruise. Can't talk to him. He has to initiate contact and all that. Nobody did. But Nick,
fucking Queen.
Honestly, that's the way it is. But he said he was the nicest bloke he'd ever met. He said, because at the end of it, because he was that focused on it, when he finished, he'd come up and just chat to everybody. He wasn't bothered. He just said, how are you doing and stuff like that.
Do you know what? Tom Cruise does come across like that. He comes across really like a really genuinely nice bloke.
He's the most intense person you'll ever meet. And I've seen this in interviews, that he grabs your hand and he looks you in the eye and he doesn't let go. And he talks directly into your eyes. And he's very, I'm Tom Cruise, blah, blah, blah. And then he moves along. And there's an interview, watch an interview of him about in Australia. And the interview asks him about Nicole Kidman, and watch him switch. Watch him switch like that. He just doesn't like it. If you don't go along with him, he's like that. He switches. He gets quite nasty with it, and then he goes back.
He's quite touchy on the old Scientology stuff, isn't he? Because he's a big.
Nobody talk. Yeah, you're not allowed to ask him about that at all. Yeah. Obviously, but yeah. He just said he's entourage.
That's weird, though, isn't it? Scientology is just bizarre, isn't it?
I think the story of the origins of it is bizarre, but the concept I'm all right with, actually. I think the concept of us being dropped in here by aliens of a superior being, yeah, I'm all right with that. The fact that they found tablets at the bottom of someone's basement, and then he became like the fucking Scientology messiah. Yeah, I think that's American bullshit. But the fact that we could have been dropped on the planet by aliens thousands of years ago, yeah, I actually quite get that.
Yeah.
I could go with that. Yeah.
I think it's a bit like Prometheus, where it's just genetic engineering.
Yeah, Prometheus, exactly.
Yeah, like that type of stuff.
See, I had this conversation the other day with someone about, when people go into, there was a guy who went into a coma and woke up one day speaking Chinese. He never spoke Chinese in his life, and 10 years later he wakes from a coma. And that.
I've seen this a lot recently.
Yeah. So there's another one in there where a woman did the same thing. She had a head injury and then she spoke with a Chinese accent, and she can't
Welsh,
with a Chinese accent.
Welsh, Welsh stuff like that. And I said to him, I've got a theory, right? He shoot me down about this.
He's just a racist.
Theory that everybody knows everything, but you just unlock it at different stages.
Well, it is. Your brain's a sponge, isn't it? So it'll pick everything up.
So like
languages,
like with languages, right? So originally there must have been one language, and then obviously everybody spreads out from Africa, don't they? And
well, they say there was three, don't they? Because where the continents split.
Yeah.
So there's like three dialects, basically.
Yeah. So Chinese and English are like miles apart, but they must have originated somewhere. So in the DNA in everybody's brain is the ability to speak any of those, and also anything that's learned is already there. You just have to have the ability to unlock it inside your brain for it to come out. But that explains why why some people are good at maths and that, or I just think it's already there. Like you say, the Prometheus thing, where it's too many coincidences for us to get to where we are today.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
Coincidence.
Yeah, it's like it's like an experiment, isn't it? We'll put this in here in one world and see if it works, and if it doesn't, we'll adjust it. We'll put it somewhere else and see where it goes.
Well, if we were dropped onto this planet, then why do we share 50% of our DNA with a banana?
Because the bananas were dropped.
Because it wasn't dropped into the. I think it is somewhere along the line.
It was spliced from the same DNA chain. Actually, makes more sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Oh, so you're saying all life was dropped onto the planet by an alien?
Yeah, the whole thing was. Yeah.
It was seeded by something.
Yeah. The whole thing was.
I think evolution to a certain point, and then it was at some point in the human history there was some genetic manipulation there. That's what I think.
Well, they say that mushrooms, because mushrooms are not a plant or a vegetable, they're their own separate corner of life, aren't they? They're
but it's very
they say that mushrooms came from space, and some of the mushrooms I've taken, I can
send
definitely say
they
come from space.
Hey, get this. We had mushrooms growing in the garden about a month ago, and I found one or two, pulled them out. We'd never been there before, and then the dog was playing, happy as Larry. Went out into the garden, and about 3 hours later, she's like moping around. Come up and sat on top of me, and she was looking at me with glazed eyes. I was like, she's not right here. She's not right. And then the following day, she still wasn't right. High as a fucking kite. She'd been eating mushrooms.
I know. Freddie does it. So our garden's full of them. Our garden's full of them. I mean, Dave will know this. Our garden's full of them. And he did exactly the same thing. The other night, literally 2 or 3 nights ago, he threw up in the middle of the night all over the middle of the house. And we know what it was straight away. It was him eating mushies.
Yeah.
So
she must have had them, because she was like spaced out, like walking out like.
Well, next time you grow them, Rob.
I know, I'm having them. Next time we come on Saturday night.
Next time the dog's on mushies, get the laser pen out.
Yeah.
They don't move. They sort of sit there. He sits there like really spaced out. Like
get a vape and a laser pen. They'll enjoy that for hours.
Yeah.
Alien races to wokeness. That's a good. Maybe that's where they've come from. We're on a different fucking planet. I know that.
Thought we couldn't play music. Thought it was copyright.
Yeah, it is. I'm taking a risk.
Yeah, we've got some growing in the garden. I need to try and figure out what they are. Just some randoms in the flower beds. It just randomly popped up just out of nowhere. I need to get one of those apps and have one of those in it, like make me see God, I'll send me to him. One of the two.
There's a general rule of thumb, isn't there? It's a rule of thumb, isn't it? If they're a certain color or a certain shape, they're either trippy ones or not. So yeah.
I stick them on. Well, stick them on Facebook France, or somewhere like that. Somebody else.
Any mushrooms you collect in a forest or anything, you can go into a pharmacy, and they will tell you which ones are edible or not. And so, if you have like a big basket of mushrooms. You go into a pharmacy. You say, "I've collected these mushrooms. Which ones can I eat?" And they're legally obliged to tell you which ones you can eat or not. You have to have somebody.
But technically, you can eat them all.
Who is trained in it.
Which one will kill me?
It's like, you can eat them. What it does to you is a different matter, but you can eat them.
So I might get one of these mushroom grow packs and just grow it like magic mushrooms, and then go into the pharmacy and say, "Can I eat these?"
Found these in the forest. Yeah.
Calling the police.
Well, you found them in the forest.
Exactly. You picked them. Yeah. Picked them with your own fair hand.
Yeah.
And then licked your fingers, and then flew to the pharmacy.
Like Mr. Burns.
Anyway, wokeness. So it's just everywhere. I'm just seeing it everywhere at the moment. I'm really bored of it. I'm really bored of this liberalism taken to the extreme. And
so I think this explain to us what's wokeism.
It's where people,
for those who don't know,
it's where
you're saying
generally a younger generation of people have said.
No, because it's not younger generation. Because it's older people who are saying they're woke. It's not
predominantly younger.
I think you're just getting the grumpy old man. I think that's what it is.
Dave, you know I am, right? I'm getting grumpy as fuck. But there's a general narrative from the younger generation, and 20s and 30s, that you can't say things, or you can't do things, or you can only say certain things to certain people at certain times because of their gender, their race, their belief, whatever, right? And I think having respect for someone is fine. Hitting, as an example, hitting a homosexual because they're gay, right? Because they're homosexual is wrong, right? Hitting anyone is wrong, but hitting someone because of their sexual orientation is wrong. Mm-hmm. But telling a joke about a gay person, or for years and years and years, jokes are always about Irish people, right? An Irish man walked into a bar, and that's the same thing, right? But it's a joke.
A joke.
It's not serious. It's not.
A joke usually pokes fun at somebody.
Someone for being gay, right? Which I obviously never do in my life, and I hope nobody else would either. But there's a difference between that and telling a joke about a gay guy, right? And it being a joke, because most gay people would just laugh at it and find it funny. It's a play on words. It's a situational joke, because most good jokes are situational jokes, right? That's what it is. That's all it is. Or back to what I said about Marty and Brundle, everyone was basically going in there going, "Well, she was a bit fucking stuck up, wasn't she?" And everyone's like, "Well, she's a strong, independent woman. She can fucking do what she wants." Actually, no, she can't, because there's a rule that says that if you're on the grid, you have to do an interview. And and then these people then would just argue themselves into the ground. They'll die. Yeah. They'll die not to lose the argument they already know they've lost. And it's like
new religion.
Wow.
I think there's
when it comes to humor, was it Ricky Gervais who said something like, you're allowed to joke about anything you want apart from something that somebody can't change about themselves. So disability, sexual orientation, all of those things, or sexual orientation you probably can, but like disabilities and stuff like that, it's harder to joke about those type of things. But he was going on about, because he did like a lot of jokes around fat people, and he got like scolded on online, spit roasted online about it. And he's like, well, they can change that if they want to. If they're unhappy with themselves, change it. If you're disabled, then you can't change that. You shouldn't probably do a joke about it, but there is a time and place when you can.
I think there's probably two sides to this wokeness thing that's going about. I think there's the part of it where people are arguing for, rightfully so, for discrimination, the way people act towards, certain sexual orientations and stuff. Because this always happens, and people have to fight for the the smaller people, if you like. But then there's the other side where it's just gone to the extremes and it's just ridiculous. Like we're talking about, like the people who just argue for the sake of arguing, the ones who, oh, you don't know what kind of day she's had. I'm like, no, she's on the F1 grid and that's contractually she's got to speak to them, so she should speak to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think there's two sides to the wokeness. I think there is that side who are speaking up for the smaller minorities, but then there's the opposite side of it where it's just taking it to the extremes and just arguing and being offended by every single little thing that anybody does. Yeah,
you can't say that.
I take issue with the people who are offended on behalf of somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
That's my issue. What's it fucking got to do with you?
Third party wokeism. Yeah, it's like the worst, isn't it?
You can't say that about the gays. Well, if that gay person comes and says that to me, I'll say, all right, but you're still gay. I still make the joke, because to be offended, you can be offended, right? I get it. If you don't like it, it's like the Ricky Gervais thing. If you don't like him, don't watch him. If you don't like the other stuff, don't watch him. You can turn off. If someone comes to your house and smashes the front door in and goes, that's a different matter. Just turn away. You don't have to listen to it. If someone at work keeps saying something to you, that's a different issue. And then you have an issue. And you go to someone and say, right, I'm not happy with that. You get you in the office. I'm not happy with you saying this. I'm not happy with you saying that. And then you sort that out as mature adults.
But that's different. That's different because that's harassment in the workplace, right? And you that's different, right?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is the wokeism. If they're offended on behalf of somebody else, that's woke in the workplace. So if I, for example, if I was saying I hate French, Dave, I hate the French and all that, but Big Dave gets offended, I say, what's it got to do with you? It's got nothing to do with Big Dave. I'm taking the piss out of him. If he's got a problem, let him come and sort it out. I have issues with people who are offended on behalf of someone. It's nothing to do with them.
I surrender.
Well, there you go. Yeah, put the white flag. It's that's what pisses me off.
Tell you what, you can tell you're retired, Rob.
I used to say that when I was in the job, mate.
Sorry, I've offended you, Colin, on behalf of Rob.
Yeah. Picking on OEPs. You know what are you doing?
Yeah, those are OEPs. I have, but to a degree, I have a bit of freedom in what I can say because I'm not held. I am held accountable to a lot of things. You still can be, but I don't want to be in that environment anymore because people say to me, do you want to go back to work and stuff? And then when you see what's involved with going back to doing work, you're thinking, I can't be asked for that. There's too many restrictions now on just being yourself.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I'm a racist, homophobic. It's just having a laugh because in work before I left, you were watching you over your shoulder just in case someone was in the building who might take offense at something that you said, because it did happen. And it has happened where I worked, where people were offended and they just got in trouble because someone else heard it.
It's that side of it. And that's the side of it where it's getting a bit stupid. If somebody is being homophobic or racist or anything like that, then yeah, obviously they should be reprimanded and dealt with.
Exactly.
But if it's just somebody making a flippant comment and somebody goes, oh, then that's where it's taking it to extreme. And that's where it is, like the fire service, or especially, we're talking about the government bodies before. Those are the ones who were more heavily affected by it than I think the private sector. Because everybody is so conscious of it and they've got so many boxes and things to tick, and half the people there are fucking stupidly woke anyway.
Like I'll give you an example. Just before I left, there was a guy at a station who was a cunt, a knobhead, right? And his watch didn't like him and blah, blah, blah. But they had a WhatsApp group. So this guy is up for getting sacked, getting rid of him. They didn't like him. So then he produces this WhatsApp group with some racist stuff on it. This is going back a couple of years, this stuff. There was a post on it. So the guy made the original post. Hey, Jem.
Hey, Jem. No, she's not happy.
He's muted it.
Can we put some sounds in there? Like, do you remember the teacher from Charlie Brown?
I'll be back in a second.
Hey.
Give me a hand.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll tell you, because so the inquiry, basically, this guy was going to get sacked. So he said, I'm going to take all of you down with me. So he produced a WhatsApp group. And on this WhatsApp group from a couple of years ago was a racist thing. So I don't know what it was. Nobody knows what it was, but we'll say it's a picture. And under the picture was 2 laughing emojis from 2 different people. So the guy who posted it was sacked. The guy who laughed at it was sacked. The guy who laughed at it was sacked. The guy who brought the issue up was sacked because he didn't bring the issue up 2 years earlier. Right? So 4 people were sacked off at 1 post.
Yep.
Fast forward 2 years later, just before I left, because I know this has happened now, they've now gone back to get more people from it. So 4 people have lost livelihoods, pensions, blah, 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 because of one individual who wasn't very good, who's a bit of an arsehole by all accounts, bringing forward that. Now, for me, the WhatsApp group is private. It's got nothing to do with work. But you re-educate those people. If that's what you think, you re-educate them. However, the what they called now,
culture, isn't it?
Diversity officer got involved in it. That's it. You're immediately set because they want to make an example of you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I did in my last year? Came off every WhatsApp group before I left. Deleted every WhatsApp group that I knew with anybody in the job. I wouldn't talk to anybody on WhatsApp because I just needed to retire because I'd lost everything. Because some of the stuff, we had a girl come on our watch, and the proviso was that if you come on our WhatsApp group, you have to post something on there that if it comes back on us, you would get sacked.
So self-incriminate yourself.
Yeah.
So
you can't incriminate anybody else.
Yes. So we invited her onto the WhatsApp group. The first 2 posts were porn from her to us. And that's how we got round it. Because we could always then go back and say, well, she started it.
So now what to ask a question then, but then I know I'll get the woke audience kicking off at me and probably get hated across the internet. Was it homemade porn?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
I wished it was, because actually she's a very nice lady. Well, yeah, she is. No, I did.
What a lady?
No, not a lady. No. A shell. But we had to do that because it was like you had to cover your own ass. And it was wrong because you shouldn't have to do that, because that makes you think already wrong of somebody before they come along. And she isn't. She's one of the nicest. She never would. But you can never say never about anybody. I would say that about my mates. You can never say never. In this culture now, you can do things and you just get
the problem is now is
Cole's got black t-shirt. He's joining the club.
He's joining the club.
Oh, sorry, he doesn't have his headphones on yet. Cole's on the black t-shirt. He's joining the cult.
Viewers, how many people are watching this? Is anyone actually watching us?
Yeah, there's somebody watching. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, viewer.
Hello, viewer.
It's just one person.
I think so. Yeah.
There you go. Let's get the one person voting.
Is it Rishi? Are you Rishi?
The last one we did had quite a few people watching it. So yeah,
this is why we need to keep a
more
rhythm.
consistency. You need the consistency, otherwise no one watches.
Then give somebody else access to set it up when you're not available, Colin.
I can do that, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe need to get some controls,
keep it going. Yeah,
like someone in IT who can do it.
It's the controls. That little special keyboard and everything.
It's like you can. They've upgraded it. I've not done it I've not been on. It's all done on Restream. This is a piece of software called Restream. It's really good. This podcast is not sponsored by Restream, but if they'd like to give me a year's worth of subscription for nothing, that'd be flipping handy.
900 quid?
No, it's not that much. It's
for the Uber one. For the Uber one, it is.
Uber one, yeah. It's about 400 quid, I think it is. I've got the professional version, I think, which is more than enough I need. But it allows you to do a bit more. It allows you to invite more guests on and stuff. Because when we did we did a Great Escape Christmas special once, and we needed we had 8 people on it. I think it was 7 or 8 people on it, and we needed to upgrade, so I upgraded it.
Did you see that link I sent you about that GameStop film that's coming out?
Yes, thank you.
Oh yeah, well, we're all being millionaires off that. I'm still waiting to buy me yacht.
Dumb money. Oh, it's still going on, mate. It's still happening. But films like that don't help. They help, but they don't help because
Paul Logan just setting his shit up so he can make money.
This is not. It's not over by any means, and continues to happen. But the issue that you've got is that they're making it out like it was like a one-time thing, and it's now done, and everyone missed their opportunity. It's not done. They are in the shit. They're just trying to cover their tracks. So that came out, and then there was the Ape Together Strong video that came out on Amazon. So there's a fan one that was done on Amazon. You should definitely go and watch that one because that one's good. That one's exactly how it is and how it was, and it talks about what happened and everything. There's loads of people in that we know that have been on the show. Loads of people that are in that one that have been on the show. Hey, it's
Babs.
Bonjour, Babs.
Hello.
Hello, guys. You all right?
Hello.
Yeah, good. How are you? You're
live.
You're live on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube, so not swear.
Oh my god, I'm
Don't
impressed.
fucking swear.
Okay, no fucking swearing. Oh my god. So I'm a bit drunk. I've been drinking Jet 27.
What's that? What's Jet 27?
It's amazing.
It sounds dangerous.
What's Jet 27?
You know, it's like mouthwash.
No,
Shandy.
it's much better than that.
No, it tastes like mouthwash.
Bye.
Hey, bisous.
Right. Oh, look at that. Oh god.
So what's Jet 27? I'm going to Google that.
Jet. Well, you know, Jet 27. Yeah, you do. Google it. It's probably a very French thing. It's like it's a mint like liqueur. It's about 25%. You drink it on ice.
In the month, I think.
Yeah. But it's alcoholic. Exactly that.
But so's creme de menthe.
Is it?
Creme
de menthe is. Well, yeah, it's that
strong,
then. It's exactly that.
Creme de menthe's not strong though, is it?
No, but it's
Jet. It's Jet with a G.
Yeah, mint liqueur.
Get 27.
Yeah. I think I found it. Hang on. There it is.
Alcoholic content of 21%.
There you go.
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. And you drink it. If you don't drink it on ice, it's not very nice. You need to have it like on like crushed ice. It's actually all right. You wouldn't drink a lot of it, but
how strong is it?
20-odd%.
Yeah, 20%.
21%.
It's a liqueur, isn't it? It's not a spirit. It's a liqueur.
Babs likes it when she's drunk. You normally drink it after eating.
Right. Take the taste away from your mouth.
Go back. Sorry, go back to that. Go back. How much was that? Oh,
£21.75.
Oh, God. I looked at 123 quid. I was like, what? Oh, it's for 6. All right. £21.
Ultra.
How much is it in Francais?
I'd say about 16 euros, so about 10 quid.
Yeah, it's just about so it's cheap.
Import duty.
EU tax.
Yep.
EU tax.
That's why we left you, fuckers. All your taxes.
You'll be back.
I don't think we will.
No, I don't think we will.
No.
Not for at least 2 generations.
Yeah.
You'll be back.
Even then, whether the EU's still around by then is probably more questionable.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's just bringing too many economies into it which can't withstand it. And bigger economies properly.
You don't want Turkey in it.
You don't want the Scotties in it either. When the Scotties get independence, I mean, yay! Because it's like, oh, here we go. It's like it's another mouth to feed. Yeah.
Bankrupt.
Well,
Bankrupt after 10
we'll
years.
use all their gas.
Ain't got any gas.
What, the Scots?
Yeah.
No, they're not got any.
It all gets piped to the northeast.
Well, they just cut those pipes off then, don't they?
No. That's the problem.
It's in Scottish waters, though.
Only if Biden gets involved.
It's all, mate. It's all. Anyway, listen, the whole Scotland thing. So we've talked about this before. We talked about this on this podcast before, haven't we? We talked about when they did the last referendum. We were on your stag do, Dave, in Ibiza.
Yeah.
And I remember I remember we woke up and we went down to the bar downstairs. Yeah. No, it was more than that. It was like 60-40, wasn't it? It was pretty substantial.
It was quite close.
Swing. Anyway, we were there, weren't we? We were sat in the bar. It must have been 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the morning local time.
Yeah,
and all the results were coming through.
United.
We sat down there. And we went, looked at it all and went, the guys have voted to stay. Like, what are they doing?
Well, there's a bit of a thing about it.
If they knew they were going to have a Brexit vote like a year after, do you think they would have voted the same way?
Yeah, because there's a theory where, I don't know how true it is, but a lot of English middle-class people, let's say, or upper-class people, bought properties in Scotland so they could vote in the referendum.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you have to have an address there,
Yeah, you have to have an address.
That seems petty.
Yeah.
That does seem.
As we said, I don't know. I've not seen any facts. I've not fact checked it. I've got no idea whether it's true.
I think what the Scottish independence referendum results. I forgot what it was.
I think in
like 59-41, wasn't it, or something?
Because obviously Edinburgh's the university, so I think there's a lot of English people or English families who own property in Edinburgh, the university.
Have a look. Edinburgh. So Edinburgh was. I'll bring it up. I can share it on the screen. So, boom.
Right, it'd be interesting to see if it is actually true or not. To be fair.
So, what's the overall percentage then? If you,
you know what? I don't know. Hang on.
It seems to be hanging around 58 or something like that.
Yeah, it's on the average, isn't it?
So this is the no, don't go, yes, stay. So Edinburgh was
so it's
53,
lower than the average, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, above 61.
Is it?
Yeah, 61.1.
That's funny that because the Orkney Islands, 67%. They're actually talking now that they want to join Norway. Did you hear about that?
To be fair, you would want to join the Scandinavians because their economy and everything is
apparently the Orkney Islands did belong to Norway and was given when some king and queen married as a present.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they have most of their heritage is actually Norwegian, not
it was British. Claimed by, I think it was the Vikings that the fingers and the Norwegian.
It was
king
Queen,
at the time took it.
It was like Queen Catherine married somebody, and something like that.
There you go, 55.3 to 44.7. There you go.
Okay.
And there was only one. Yeah, there was only look at the map. There's only a handful that said yes. So the majority of Scotland, a vast majority of Scotland, said no. So.
Yeah, but if you take Brexit into consequence after, then I think that would have changed.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to have another
20%.
vote. Actually, it would be interesting to have another vote.
With that though, it's a bit like the Brexit where people are sold a bit of a puppy, aren't they? And it's going to be sunshine and roses if you leave us, and then it's not. Then what the fuck? Yeah. Because they get free prescriptions, don't they? They get free university and all.
Free university education, yeah.
That's all going to go because. They've got meted criteria to get in the EU, which I don't think they will on their economy, regardless of oil. And all that will disappear. What they're going to do? Do they have their own military then? Because Faslane and all that's going to have to come down.
Well,
it will become Scottish, won't it?
Faslane will come down
to Scottish. The thing is, geography counts.
Trident will not be part of Scotland. They'll just bring it down.
Exactly. It'll come back down to Cumbria. It'll come back to.
But the thing is, geography counts, doesn't it? You know what are they going to do? They're going to build a land bridge from Scotland to mainland Europe and bypass.
It's the same thing as Northern Ireland, isn't it?
It's not going to happen, is it? You know,
the same problems with the border will happen that's happened in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, totally.
What's going to go up? And they've seen that now, and they're just going to go. Do you know what? It's not worth it anymore.
They're too far away from Europe for it to have any effect, unless they built a bridge from Scotland to Ireland, and then build a tunnel from Ireland to France.
Bridge.
Yeah, big time. But geography counts. It's true. They're too far away.
Yeah, like I say, you're going to have to come through whatever's going to be classed as the UK.
EU.
No, Iceland, no,
because geography again, it's not. Yeah,
they're not part of the EU.
But
one of the Scandinavian countries aren't either as well. They're not part of it, are
they? Norway.
Yeah, it's Norway.
I thought Sweden was.
Sweden is. Yeah, I think it's Norway.
It's Norway and I don't think Finland are.
Finland definitely isn't.
Finland isn't.
Yeah. They're in. They have their own little group, don't they, with Switzerland in it, which is what the UK wanted to join.
Yeah. Anti-EU Bankers Organisation, I think it's called. Something like that.
Well, the thing is, Switzerland can't join the EU because they're hiding too much money.
Yeah, they can't. They can't disclose what they're holding in the bank accounts over there.
Simple.
We've talked about this before. We've talked about it being blood money. It's basically Nazi. It's Nazi blood money.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see the stamps on those gold bars. I reckon they've all got swashed.
What about Andorra? Are Andorra in there in the EU?
No.
I was going to say because they did with the Nazis as well, didn't they? They're like, come over here, we'll look after you then. Here, there you go. We'll sell them to you now.
Sell them all off.
Yeah.
They all went to Argentina anyway, including Hitler.
Well, Argentina, and if there was any good at science, America, United States.
Have you watched Oppenheimer yet?
No,
watch it.
I really want to go watch it though.
You said it's long.
It's 3 hours. It doesn't. I don't know. I had something to do afterwards, so I kept looking at my watch. But it's good. Don't get me wrong. And they keep saying,
"What did you have to do, Rob? You're fucking retired."
I got to pick my car up, mate.
How'd you go for the afternoon special?
Yeah, well, I did. Morning special.
Do you get cheaper rates now?
Go in before 12 o'clock.
£5.
I can't argue with that. Was that on the 4DX screen or whatever it's called?
Do they pre-chew the popcorn for you?
Put it in a blender. Just suck it. They keep going on about because Nolan films everything in IMAX, doesn't he? So it's all right, but it's not a big action film, so everything's close-ups of a face. So the sound's really good because when they obviously spoiler alert, they drop a nuclear bomb.
For fuck's sake, I've got to watch it as well, Rob.
So it goes obviously when they first drop it, it goes silent because that's the build up to it, and then there's the big, and that's really impressive. But apart from that, it doesn't lend itself to being on a big screen because it's a very what's the word for it now? Character driven. It's character driven, so it's nothing to do with action. It's all talking. It's flashbacks and going forward in time, back in time.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's a dead interesting story because obviously I knew who he was and what he did. I didn't know the other bits to it, and
like what?
So there was an issue with a guy. It's afterwards. There's a lot played about afterwards. Robert Downey Jr. plays a congressman called Strauss, who becomes his nemesis later on, and they try basically to take away his security clearance
because of his links to communism,
and all that. And I likened it to a bit to the way they treat Alan Turing, after the World War. Very similar.
That was terrible, though.
Yeah, they did it. Obviously, they did it because he was gay, and on this they tried to do it because of communism. But the character that Downey plays, it's done out of spite because he embarrassed him, and that comes out later on and stuff like that. And the way they treated him was really bad because obviously there are links there, but years and years ago.
I've always been obsessed with nuclear war and the atom bomb and everything. I've always been really obsessed with it, and obviously recently over the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks because of Oppenheimer, the whole lots of documentaries about him and the making of the bomb and everything that happened, and they were saying that there was no evidence of him actually joining or being any part of the Communist Party, even though most of the people who worked with him had joined.
He didn't.
His best friend had joined, but apparently he never joined. He had sympathy towards them because of. I mean, it came from the Depression, didn't it? A lot of
Americans got in for it from the Depression side of it.
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't. They didn't go into the. And what you mean, his depression?
No,
the
Great Depression.
Oh, right.
Yeah, obviously, everybody's skinned. The world's going to shit, and nobody can feed himself. So you look for.
The rich were fine, and the poor were. That
didn't sort of come up in the film. It concentrates more on. He's like his brother was associated with it, and his friends were all into it, and he tried to set up a union. He was very sympathetic towards having a union for the faculty at where he was teaching, and that was seen as, oh, you want a union? That means you must be a communist.
Yeah.
He's like, well, no, because we've got rights like everybody else. That's the way he thought about it, and he gave money to Franco against Franco because he was a fascist. He wasn't giving it to communism. He was giving it to the people who were suffering under him, as in just he was giving contributions. It wasn't to fight him. It was just he felt sorry for the orphans and stuff like that. That's the way it's portrayed. And the building of the bomb, it's the clash of. It's something that as a scientist they want to do, but at the end of it they're like, but we don't want to do it because the war's over. Effectively, the war was over. It was only Japan that was holding out, and they just said, if you don't do it, there's going to be lots of people lost. And they tried to play on that side of it. He said, because even he admitted, he said, I only wish we could have dropped it on the Germans because he was Jewish. So he said it would have been better, but they never got to do that.
The other side of that story was, another version of that story was that he was at odds with the targets. So they chose Hiroshima.
That's in the film as well.
Yeah, they chose Hiroshima because Hiroshima was actually a relatively flat part of Japan. So when they dropped it at a certain height, they could measure things better. They could measure the power of the bomb better. So they chose it because it was just an ideal test ground to test the bomb.
In the film, they don't say that. What they do is they go to a meeting in the film. I mean, it's a spoiler if you want to watch it, but they say, right, they didn't want to kill civilians. They just said, look, why do you want to kill all these people? We need to test it. And he went, well, there isn't a military target big enough. If we drop it on a naval base and it wipes out a few ships, the Japanese would just go, so fucking what? So they had a list. I don't know how true this is, but the guy who was doing the list said, we're not going to drop it there because of its cultural significance to the Japanese. And also I went on honeymoon there and it's really nice. So I don't want to drop it. We've got these other 10 places. So they're all sat in a room together, of which Oppenheimer was one of them. And it doesn't show the end of the meeting. It doesn't show when they were chosen. But later on in the interrogation, he said, you helped to choose it. And he went, well, yeah, I was in the room. And it was chosen.
Well,
maybe for those reasons. Obviously, what you're saying. They don't put that in the film. They don't.
Actually, this was. No one really knows, but the documentary I watched was more around of, the geographical significance of Hiroshima was perfect to test the bomb, to test the full capacity of the bomb, and they were trying to work out. Well, they're trying to work out at what height to drop it to get the maximum effect, and they calculated all that, and then they could then prove that theory was right, so they could go on and home the bombs more, better as they move forward. But the way that it was portrayed was that he tried to push for. Well, one view is he tried to push for a show of power, so a less populated area. They were going to drop it out at sea and basically vaporize a part of a coastline instead. So they probably only kill maybe 3,000 people rather than the hundreds of thousands of people that the bomb killed, as a show of power. And that would have been enough for the Japanese to go, fuck this, we're finished. We're finished anyway, but we're definitely finished now. That was the view that it was portrayed as his view. But then when you go and look at some of the official transcripts of meetings and other things that they were in, it didn't come across like that at all. He was showing off. He wanted to show off the power of the bomb. And
that in the film is about there's a bit of a conflict about him being about himself and how good he was, and obviously the other side of the whole thing about it's him who did it and all that. When obviously there's a great group of people who did it together. So,
but he was he was quite self-aware as a person. He was very aware that he was a nobody, and that's what he said. He said for a long time that he was a nobody in a room full of other people.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this general guy, I've forgotten the guy's name, the general that ran the program, liked him and saw him as like the calm of the storm, basically. And he liked his thinking, he liked the way he worked, and they just hit it off. They got a good relationship, and that's why he was chosen as the leader of this. And actually, they chose the right guy, because the way he thought about stuff and his lateral thinking helped the bomb become what the bomb was.
I think, well, in the film, it's not portrayed like that, because Matt Damon plays this general.
Yeah.
He is. And it shows prior to World War, where the quantum mechanics and all that sort of comes into it, Einstein and all this stuff. And he seems to be in America anyway, the person who's thinking out the box. So he comes to him when the war starts, because the first thing that happens when this guy in Germany does what he does, the first thing is that everyone says, how can we make that to be a bomb? Nothing else. It's just about being a bomb, not energy or anything. It's about being a bomb. And then they come to him and say, right, well, we need to start going. He says, because well, they're 18 months ahead of us because they've already done it. He's like, shit. Okay, so then he's then chosen to be the head of it, because he's the most vocal or person that everybody sees to be into this quantum stuff. And that's how it goes in the film anyway. So he's headed up to recruit everybody. Who do you need? We need to him. They bring all these different people into Los Alamos, and then they just go on from there. But it takes them like 3.5 years to do it all. So, and they have all the different people inside the thermal. There's a guy in there who says we need to do a hydrogen bomb, and he's going. Everyone's like, "No, fuck off. That's never going to work." But he says to him, "You go and work on it over there. We'll carry on with this," and then the hydrogen bomb comes in later on.
Yeah. I forgot the guy's name. Who was the other scientist? He was like his rival.
But yeah, I suppose so, because he almost shops him in the way. There's a kangaroo court. That's what's in the film later on, the kangaroo court, and he comes in and goes against him. So yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't know how true it is.
It sounds like it's.
Yeah, they'll take bits, won't they? They take bits, don't they? But
No.
I get the gist of the story and how they did it all. And I mean,
so what's in the agenda for next week, Rob? Are you going to see Barbie?
Well, I was doing, but last night they got free tickets, and them two went to see it last night, and it's absolutely shit.
Very good.
I don't know, it's shit.
It's a Barbie film. It's not going to be.
Yeah, but she's 10-year-old. A 10-year-old girl says it's rubbish.
Yeah, it's got Margot Robbie in it, though. Come on,
got Margot Robbie in it. So
she's got no bits, has she? So it's all fake.
No genitals. Exactly.
But Layla said that
I'll still have a look.
There's a feminism bit, isn't there? And they've got this thing, and it's like Ken goes to the real world and says, "Oh, look, men rule everything," and Barbie goes there and says, "Oh, women don't rule everything," and it's all that's about face. She says,
it's a bit feminism.
Hang on. Is it back to this?
Back to Wokie.
Back to that. Yeah. It's back to that.
Where feminism wants it when it's good and not when it's bad.
That's a shame, isn't it? That's a shame.
Yeah. So you tell me how many. This is somebody said it to me the other day, and he's quite right, I think. So how many feminists are there at the moment who are kicking off, protesting all over social media, saying in the Ukraine the women should stay and fight as well as the men? How many are out there saying that?
But they are, actually.
I've not seen any. Are there?
I've seen loads.
No, I've not seen any of that.
There's quite a lot of women on the front line in Ukraine.
Yeah, I've seen.
No, I'm not saying there isn't women on the front line. I'm not saying
people saying they should do.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
Because obviously in the Ukraine, if you're a man, you're not allowed to leave, are you? You've got to stay and you've got to fight. But women and children are allowed.
Men are not allowed to leave the country.
They're not allowed to leave the country. So I'm not saying there's not women there fighting. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's nobody kicking off, and all over social media saying why are men being able to stay and what women aren't, and all that kind of stuff. So there's always that feminism thing, isn't it, where it's want it when it's good, but not when it's bad.
Well, I don't think that Ukraine is very evolved when it comes to feminism either. I mean, they can do whatever the fuck they want to do, but if the war comes further west, and we experience that point of view, then I get it. Get your boots on, love.
There's a guy with the rest of them.
There's a guy on YouTube. I'm trying to find his name now, and I've watched a few of his videos, right? And he just rips them up for arse paper in about things like having equal money and all that for women and stuff like that. And he's saying inherently that men have more dangerous jobs and blah blah blah. And I don't agree with it all, but
men work longer hours,
more suicides.
It's not that guy. It's not Jordan Peterson, is it?
That's him.
Yeah.
Is this the guy that's currently going to prison for something?
No, that's in Romania.
No, that's
Andrew Nobed Tate, isn't it?
Tate.
Andrew Tate.
One who's made his money from webcamming women and all that kind of.
So basically, he gets all these women in who've equal rights and says like, so you want equal money, right? Okay, but they sometimes don't deserve it. He says so like, you fight for. One of them was a politician who saying, no, we want 50% women and 50% men, and he went. So bricklayers, 99.5% of bricklayers are men. Why aren't you fighting for more bricklayer women?
Yeah, it's true. You're only fighting for these ones of power.
He says the only ones you want are in power.
Yeah,
he says you don't want it for
positions.
everything. You just want it in power.
Yeah,
he says that's the only thing that you want. And there was another one where it was the money for footballers. This wasn't her. This is another guy.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say about the
World Cup.
Yeah.
World Cup. So the men's World Cup was worth $6 billion, and the men got paid $400 million. So it's a percentage. It was something like 12%, whatever it was.
No, it's less than that. I think
it's 8%. 8%, wasn't it?
Because 10%. I think it was literally. I think the men. You have to Google and fact check it.
So if it's $6 billion
to find out.
So
so men got roughly 4 to 5% of what the revenue was.
The women got 40%, didn't they?
Yeah, the women got something way higher than obviously what the men were getting percentage-wise. Yeah,
but they don't like that argument, do they?
Women's football is subsidised.
It doesn't. But it doesn't generate as much.
What's it called? Have you watched the Bill Burr stand-up? His latest stand-up. And he talks about the women's basketball league.
Yes.
And basically, the women's basketball league is subsidized by the men's basketball league. And he goes on saying the same thing. It's like, well, why are there not more women going to watch women's basketball? And if they did, they would have the revenues to have good wages. Yeah. But at the moment, it's all subsidized by the men's league. Instead of going watching Barbie, the film, go and watch your local women's basketball team.
Yeah.
And then
that generalization,
it would justify them having a decent wage. I mean, it's supply and demand, isn't it? If there's no demand for it, there's going to be no cash.
Yeah.
In England, at the moment, you could write off. So like City, United, Liverpool, all them. They're allowed to subsidise the football teams, the women's teams.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 years' time, I think it is, that comes under FFP.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they'll be dropped like a lead balloon.
Because if you can't, you're going to spend it on the men's game. You're not going to subsidise the women's game because of it.
It's a shame because I do enjoy watching them. I enjoy, to be fair, last World Cup, I enjoyed watching the women's football more than enjoy watching football nowadays.
I have to say
I don't enjoy watching football nowadays. Really don't like it.
Did you see that video? It was the US women's team, and the US women's team are like one of the best in the world.
When they played Wrexham.
And they played Wrexham, the retired Wrexham team. And there was like this speech at the beginning of it, and it's like really American woman, like, we're gonna come here and we're gonna kick your ass, like the Americans do. And then the Wrexham men's retired team beat them 11-0.
11-0, yeah.
It's brilliant. It's good. It's quite good.
But it is. It's like I think it was Venus Williams or Serena Williams, and they got asked the question like, what happens if the women play the men? It went, we'd be annihilated. So like if I played against Roger Federer at the time, he was probably one of the best tennis players in the world, I said, I'll get annihilated. They said it's that realization that they have to have. It's like you would get beat.
It's a no-brainer, though, isn't it?
By the way, the Jackie Stewart thing, the Jackie Stewart person that he was trying to get hold of was in Miami, and it was Roger Federer.
Was it?
Is it Roger Federer? No. No, I'm taking Roger Federer out of that one, then I'll use...
I agree. He was a very overzealous security guard, from what I understand.
So like the tennis thing...
Use Djokovic. Use Djokovic in that example.
Wimbledon, they've made the
Djokovic isn't like that.
No, I mean in my story where it's like where Serena or Venus Williams said, like, if
right, okay.
Yeah. No, Djokovic seems like a really, really cool guy. And
yeah, he does.
He's not. He's a bit of a fucking fruitcake.
He's a bit of a. But did you see him at the Wimbledon final though? The way he handled the loss at the Wimbledon final, he's like really congratulating the young lad, and he's like really respectful of him. Like,
fair enough.
I played well, and you played absolutely fucking fantastic.
Have you seen those videos of Djokovic and his entourage are like passing things around in the crowd, putting it in a water bottle, and then the water bottle's delivered. They're putting this thing in the water bottle, and they're saying like, no, lean back, so the cameras can't see. And like this guy's like, oh shit, and he's like blocking them. Well, they're putting something in this water bottle. And you see this water bottle. Did we do that in Ibiza? Get passed down. you see this water bottle get passed down around the court and get given to him directly, and then he's like opening it and drinking it. Look it up. It's pretty sus. But
yeah, that is pretty sus.
Yeah. So Djokovic's on ketamine during the.
He's on,
American, maybe US Open or whatever it's called.
Perhaps he's on something.
Have you seen the one of Maradona when he's a manager or even a player, and they crowd round him while he's like sniff and he gets back on the pitch, doesn't he? So, he's like sniffing it off his hand. Brilliant. He goes out and scores 3 goals, I think.
I'm surprised.
I'm pretty sure you can't do that anymore.
You don't get football. That's when I used to enjoy watching football. Not anymore when you roll around because someone stood on the fucking shoelace.
I mean, I think we've gone over this before, but this, like the Tour de France, I'm not sure if you've seen the series on Netflix, but you should. It's pretty good. But the guys who do the Tour de France are just like absolute machines. They do like 150 kilometers a day for 3 weeks, up and down mountains, and it's just relentless. It's hardcore. Amazing,
it's proper hardcore.
But what they should do, they should have a version of every single sport where you're allowed to take as much drugs as you want.
Yeah.
Because people will watch it. I want to see thighs exploding as they go up the Alps.
Watch.
I'm sorry, but I do.
Get on YouTube and watch some of the old glory fights. So I think it was held in Japan. I think it was, but they didn't do drug testing.
Glory holes then.
No, glory holes. That's a different channel, different website.
Let's talk about glory holes. Yeah.
But there's watch Glory, and I don't think they had any drugs testings in there. And the guys in there, some of them are like proper off the trees on fucking steroids and all kinds of stuff. And the fights you see, just phenomenal fights. But they should do. I think they should have a league or whatever it is and go, right, well, there you go. You can be pure. You can do what you want and prove what the human body can do. And we've got to have these ones over here, the super freaks. You just want to get fucked out of the tree and just entertain people.
And that's like, let's see the subscriptions come in.
Yeah, let's see which ones are. Yeah, see who's paying the pay-per-view on which ones.
It's like the argument for having all the trannies in it in one group. Have Olympics for men, women, and them.
Oh, we talked about this, didn't we, in the first?
Yeah, the transgender
episode 1 was a transgender one which
is something I feel really, really strong about.
That guy who came out was I'm a girl, and he just.
Just annihilated it.
He just annihilated
everyone.
Swimmer,
there was a hurtler, there was a powerlifter. There's been a powerlifter now. So
I think there was an MMA as well, wasn't there?
There's one in MMA. Literally, there was for the. I think it was. I can't remember the name. But there's a man who transitioned into a woman, Started fighting as MMA, started fighting against women. And I think it was either his 3, I'll have to check it, but it's either his first 3 or first 4 fights. Sorry, her first 3 or first 4 fights. He either broke somebody's jaw, broke their eye socket, or broke the skull. And that's the only time that it's ever happened in women's combat sports.
Fucking nonsense.
So people would just be like, no, I'm not fighting you. Sorry, I'm just not.
To me, it makes a mockery for women. You got women there who've trained all their lives and they've put all the work into it.
Exactly that.
And they've got to a point, and you're like, it's like the South Park episode. Has everyone seen that one? Where it's like random.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. I'm just about to say that. Yeah.
And it is. It's obviously a mockery of it, but it's true. You got these women who have and they've devoted their lives to get to that top level. And it's unfair. They shouldn't have to do it.
But the Wokey Brigade is say you can't do that.
Yeah, and to that answer, I'd say, right, okay, you go, you train in kickboxing, say, because obviously I'm martial arts.
Getting with it.
You train for 18 months. You fight against a woman, and in the next fight, you fight against a man at the same weight, and you see the difference. Yeah. It's not being sexist. It's not being woke. It's not being anything like that. It's just genetics. It's just
absolutely
of what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my rant of the evening.
However, back in, they might be all right.
I do. It's a subject that really riles me. It really
might be all right reversing the car, though. You never know.
Yeah, but they've got to put the arm behind the chair. That's where they don't do it right.
Okay, so what sports?
My youngest lad
are
did it.
Women better at than men?
Netball. Sorry, very, very sexist there. It just came out.
Netball's a great game, by the way.
It is I've never played
Netball's well underrated, I have to say.
It depends what you mean.
What sports? Well, okay. So if a woman
beach volleyball
into a men's league, if a woman transitioned into a man, went into a man's league, what sport would women rule at?
It would be anything that's not physical.
Anything that's not physical.
Yeah, it would be a non-physical
like darts. Like darts.
Yeah, because that girl's done it, hasn't she?
It's the physical side of it. And men are made stronger. You look at the world records for the speed, the lifting, the jumping, whatever it is, it's the man who holds the highest record. Because that's the way we are designed and that's the way we are built. And it is, and obviously I relate it back to combative sport. So when I train, one thing that I do notice, and I've noticed over the years, is when you're training with the women are always very, very technical. A lot of the girls, the teenagers, or the women who they pick up the technique perfectly, or a hell of a lot better than the men do, because the men have the testosterone and the ego, so they just want to hit hard and move the person and smash them, and because that ego takes over. But ultimately, you can't compete against the speed and the size and the strength and the endurance from it. That testosterone brings along.
You hit the nail on the head. Testosterone. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's the testosterone side of it.
It's like when you watch,
and that's where it is. And they're like, oh, they don't have testosterone in the system anymore. No, but they've had it for 24 years. They've got the skeletal frame of a man. They've got the build of a male. They've got everything else, and it is. And
I watched Mission Impossible today. So that
a new one.
No, I've seen that one. I was watching the old ones because I've watched the new one. But there's obviously you get a fight, don't you? You have a woman against a man, and they're like, obviously, the technique, like you're saying, when he lamps her, she's not getting up. It's not. You know what I mean? He's a big guy. He hits her. She's not getting up from that.
Yeah.
Technically, if it's an equal strength and etc., she possibly could beat the man.
Yeah.
But if he's a bigger guy, there's no way on this earth.
No, but there is this. Yeah, if you take it to the extremes, like Ronda Rousey, everyone's heard of Ronda Rousey. Like if she went against the average bloke, she'd beat the shit out of him. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a fight with her. No chance.
Yeah, she'd snap your arm within 30 seconds. It is, but that's taking it to the extremes. But as a generalization across the board, you want to do like I've trained with a girl when it was training where I trained. She came about 10 years ago. So she fought in the UFC. So she had about 6-10 fights in the UFC. But she did, and she came in, and obviously because everyone's amateurs and all the rest of it, she beat the crap out of about 10 blokes because they tried it on, they tried the ego, and the testosterone kicked in, and she went, actually, no, I'm not taking this. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And she did. And everyone's like, okay, yeah. you know what you're fucking doing, kind of thing. But if you put her against somebody at the same training level and the same experience, at the same weight,
top flight,
then that's a different story. Yeah.
We need to find a women. What sport women better at?
Beach volleyball.
It depends. That's what I said.
They do that sport very well, don't they?
Yeah, they do that sport very well.
And what?
But like you say, it depends on what you define
wokey.
better at. Yeah.
Going back to the wokey. What country was it when they said we're no longer going to wear the short bikini things? We're going to wear sort of like long shorts.
It was apparently it was mandatory for the women to wear the shorty shorts, and then everyone went, "Nah, we're not doing that anymore," and they went to normal shorts. I'm sure some fucking weird bloke come up with that rule. I do.
Yeah.
Sounds a
always
bit
stuff like that.
a good rule, but a bit weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of sexist.
The rule from the 1950s. It was Jimmy Savile. That rule.
Yep.
No, he was into his boys, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, he's into kids.
Anything. Yeah, he's into anything. But going back to the wokey woke, I just had a thought then. What I do like about the wokey woke bit is, you know, these lads at school, I think they've been in a few papers from different schools when it's like hot weather and the boys have to wear pants.
I was going to go there. Yeah,
I was going to turning up with skirts and going, well, the girls can wear them, so why can't we? Because it's hot.
Yeah.
And like schools have had to turn it around because they're taking a mick, obviously, and go in.
Come down and do your job.
Yep. Kids are still kicking off. But when the lads have done it and they've gone into school in the skirts, and it's that little piss take of wokeness I did like, to be fair.
Yeah.
Cole's turning the internet off. Internet's being turned off downstairs.
I will be. Carries on. I change all the Wi-Fi passwords. Just as me and Jim have it.
Yeah. The thing is, when you've got 8 kids in your house, you just got to lock them in a room and just let them tire themselves out.
Unfortunately, they're down in the playroom, which is the open part of the house. So
the thing is, there's an app you can get where you can, with the MAC address of each thing which is connected to your Wi-Fi network, you can go in and just turn them off. Bing, 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 and then they just don't have access anymore.
See how many BT engineers are attached to your Wi-Fi.
You know exactly how I operate IT, right? I've got a full enterprise cloud system that I can turn people off individually whenever I want. It's fine, don't worry.
Someone told me that, there was an ex-BT engineer or OpenReach, whoever it's called now. But they were saying what they do, because obviously every time you go to somebody's house and you set the Wi-Fi up, you've got to use your laptop to set the Wi-Fi up. They then keep the Wi-Fi open on the laptops, so when they're driving around, they can just basically go down any street and attach the Wi-Fi.
They can't.
That's what I said, on any street, the random ones.
You're just going to change your
password,
which is
quite scary.
I don't.
That's what you need to do, isn't it? You change your password after you leave, but most people don't.
I don't use their Wi-Fi.
Go tell them. Get your manly, deeply testosterone voice on.
Definitely in trouble.
Yep.
Definitely.
She wasn't happy there, was she?
No.
To be fair, she's been dealing with 8 unruly kids all night.
Big time. Yeah.
That's me just getting brownie points for next time I'm down there. But no, wokeness. It is. There's 2 sides to it, I think. There's the extreme sides where everybody's offended by everything, and then there's the other side where people are standing up for the minority. And you agree with people standing up for the minority, but I don't agree with the people just being offended by anything for the sake of being offended.
But you not think like everybody, the minority now is very, very small, and everyone else is having to change because of it.
That's because everybody is watching it on social media.
Yeah, but
if people stop watching it on social media, it wouldn't do.
Exactly. And
what people do because it's entertainment, because people watch it.
But it's been pushed everywhere, isn't it? It's like if you go on the news, I've given up now. don't even know where to get my news from anymore, because every time it's like such a news, like it's irrelevant. It's one person out of a million, right? The million people aren't changing for one person. Just forget about it. Just get on with it. If you want to do it, do it. I don't give a shit who you are, whatever. But if I say to you, all right, mate, and you go, I'm not a mate, I'm a them, and I'll go, okay, all right. But the next time I see you, I'll still call you mate, because it's just the way I talk. It's an expression, isn't it?
It is. It's like, have you ever seen the interview with, what's he called? The guy who plays Magneto.
Calling him love when he got in the taxi.
Yeah, when he gets in the taxi. He's saying, like, obviously, he's homosexual and he's openly gay, and he's a fantastic person. He's probably one of the people that I invite to the going back to the one before that you invite him to a dinner
Ian
party.
McKellen.
Yeah, and he was saying when he said like Manchester, he said he absolutely adores Manchester. I said because you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, you get into Piccadilly Station. If you're lucky enough to be able to afford to get a taxi, you go downstairs to the taxi rank. And if you're lucky enough to get a taxi, you get in a taxi. And the first thing that happens when you walk into that taxi is he goes, where you're off to, love? No matter if you're a man, a woman, no matter who you are, it's like, where you going, love? And it's straight away that little term of endearment. That don't matter who you are, where you're from, what you are, what you like, what you don't like. It's like, you're right, love, where you going? Just that simple term of endearment just means so much to a lot of people.
Even not even love, even mate. All right, mate.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Where you going?
It's not that to me is a woman, a bloke. The love thing, I don't. He might have heard that. I'm not saying he didn't hear that, but to me, mate is just the same. If I was it, I'd go, all right, mate, where you going? Well, if it's a woman, all right, love, how are you doing?
I've had it. I've been called love in taxis. I've been called love in Manchester by blokes.
No, it doesn't make any.
Yeah, it's like in Nottingham, they call people duck. You're right, duck.
All right, duck. Yeah.
How you doing, duck? You're right, duck.
But if I was a taxi driver and a woman going, all right, mate, and you can't call, all right, love, and it was a woman transitioning to a man, shall we say? They say, like, I might take offence because I'm not a woman. I'm like, I'm just saying it to anybody.
Yeah,
that's the wind up that gets me. Is that bit?
Yeah, like, just take offence for the sake of taking offence.
You might not even. You don't know. You're just being normal.
Somebody looks deflated.
We're going to have to go in a minute.
Yeah, this is it. Podcast is over.
Yeah. When you going?
When's the podcast done?
No, it's I'm just trying to settle the kids down. They're all in one room. They're all in one room together.
It's never going to happen. You've got to accept it. No.
Not a chance.
And I've started splitting them up, I think.
That'd be even worse. So just got to accept it. Accept the fact that you've got to get no sleep tonight. They're going to wake up tomorrow grumpy as anything. And you just got to sit there and meditate in bed before they pass out.
Sit there and laugh at them.
Yep.
Just leave them to it. You don't have any of those little earbuds that you can just stick in your ears.
I'm fine. I'm all right. I can.
He's sleeping in that room.
Yeah.
Just let him stay up on it.
Seems comfy as hell.
What chair you got there? What's that chair?
Should have put them outside in the tent.
I don't know. It's one I got off Amazon. It's a proper office chair, but it's super comfy. Super comfy chair. Yeah.
Try to get decent.
Are we doing
this one's the one that I've got is designed for bigger people.
Bigger people chair.
Yep, it's a bigger person chair. It takes up to 200 kilograms.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. So for me, I feel small in this chair. It's great. Very rarely happens.
Hear it creaking. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, like fat Dave's on it.
Fatbastards.com available. That pizza looks nice. I'm starving now.
Ordered Domino's tonight. It's great.
Is it Le Domino or La Domino?
The Domino.
Same, just Domino's.
Is it as shit as it is in the UK though? Because Domino's is pretty shit. I really don't like Domino's.
Well, no, it's good. It's good.
It looks better than you get in the UK anyway.
Papa John's for us. We get Papa John's.
So French Dave, because there's now a male, a female, and a middle gender, because you've had le and la. What have you gone for French now? What's the other one?
What do you mean?
Like for Sam Smith. What's called Sam Smith?
Yeah, it can't be a she or a he.
Yeah, like a fish of they.
The French language doesn't give a fuck about what we think.
Well, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. I think they was from Spain, so their parents are Spanish. He obviously speaks fluent Spanish. And it's the same kind of thing. You're saying, like, for the German language, the French language, for the Japanese, and the Chinese, it's like everything's feminine, like feminine or masculine. So how do other languages cope with this they, them bollocks?
Well, they them has there is a.
I know there's a translation of it, but usually it's the feminine and masculine, isn't it? Yeah. So it's like
in Germany.
Well, it's like in Portugal. Yeah, because we was in Portugal earlier this year. I've been in Portugal before. So it's like obrigada and obrigado, depending on whether you're a male or a female. So he asked, the question was, if it is a case of it's he or she or they or them, like, what do you say? And he said, well, everybody just gets lazy and just goes obrigado. So they've adapted their language not to start offending people.
So in Finland, everything's genderless. There isn't a gender when you talk about something or someone.
It's like English. It's like English.
Even someone. It's genderless. You are genderless straight away.
We've said it's the different languages and how they
catch about it. So
there's no he. There's no word for he and she.
You don't use it. You don't use it. You basically say they. You don't. Okay. You don't use it.
Like in German,
it's their fault then, isn't it? That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
In German, if I remember, there's der, die, and das, isn't there? So there's male, female there. In French, there's le and la, which is male and female, but there wasn't. So the other one that comes along, or what they want to be now, there isn't one. So if a door is female, which I never understood, and a window is male, whatever it is, la fenêtre and le porte. I never understood how inanimate objects can be male and female anyway.
It's like ships. All ships and planes and inanimate objects are female. In the English language, everything's female.
When you talk about a door or a window, you don't think about it being female or masculine. It's just the language. It's le or la. You don't think about the door having a pair of tits.
I know.
So why
you don't?
Yeah.
It's just
I always think about vaginas. When I see a door,
it's just the language is le or la. It's le or la, and that's it. But it just so happens that females are la and males are le.
So why do they have that in front of each different thing? And I don't. That's
it comes from Latin.
What is it?
Okay. You don't ask about the French language. Ask about the Latin language because that's the origin of it.
Origin of all languages.
Back in 1 minute.
Bloody Romans. Therefore,
what have they ever done for us?
Exactly.
The aqueducts.
Sanitation, exactly. Yeah.
But apart from the aqueducts, the sanitation
and the roads,
what have they ever done for us? Hey, but that's even more relevant. The life of Brian, the conversation about I want to be known as. Well, you're going to keep it. Gestate. It's going to gestate in a box. You just have to present that to anyone who wants to be a female, because that's the definition. So you just put that on there. Piss myself every time.
We're going to fight for the right for you to have a baby.
We're going to fight for the right to being.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, genetically, you are male or female. Right, simple as. You are a male or female. Even if you have both sets of genitalia, you have a dominant chromosome, and you are that. You're
XX or XY.
Exactly, and there's nothing else you can be as a human, right? There's nothing else you can be. But if you feel like you're not in your head, I get that as well. I am born a man, but I'm more at home mentally by being female, good for you. Absolutely good for you. And if that makes you, if you can get through life better by being a female in a man's body, great, go for it. Not a problem. Don't have a problem with it. Not a problem. But these people that say they are genderless, I don't get it. I don't understand what drives you to be in having no. I
think it's a fad.
No, nothing.
I think it's a fad to jump on. That people have jumped on. This Sam Smith bollocks, right? You can't call me that. I'm this. You're a bloke, mate. You've got a cock and balls, and you've got an XY chromosome, whatever it is. That's what you are. You can, if you want to be called them, fair enough. But if I say, "All right, mate, how are you doing?" Don't criticize me for just talking. It's not my fault. It's just the way I talk. But it's fucking nonsense. And my biggest question is, when you're transitioning, at what point do you change?
Well,
at what point? So if you're
physically, you don't.
But if you're a bloke, right? So you start off with a bloke, you've got the meat and two veg, and you say to someone, "I'm going to become a woman." Right? Okay, fair enough. So what are you going to do to become genetically a woman? You can't, can you? So I want to be a woman, right? So you have to test the hormones, you get a pair of estrogen, get some implants done, and the final bit is you whap it all off, and boom. What's the in between? At what point do you say, because they want to be called a woman when they've not had it all done? They want to be called a woman from the minute they say it, but technically they're never going to be one, are they? So they're not.
Have you seen that one? I'm now I now identify myself as
cat.
No, transparent, and my pronouns are who, where.
Who, where, and how.
I'm now transparent. My pronouns are who and where.
It's right, though, isn't
it? It is a difficult one, that one, I think. Not the transparent stuff. Didn't see that coming.
Okay, I'm transparent. So
feel it sometimes.
It's funny that is transparent. I mean, listen, people can be whatever they want to be. I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah.
They can identify as whatever they want. But I do start to. It all starts to fall apart when they do the whole Sam Smith thing where they are just genderless. It's like, really? What? Why? And how? And how does it work? And just
you can't be genderless.
Because you've got to understand it comes from a generation. It comes from a generation where people, they're trying to get likes, they're trying to be popular, they're trying to be seen.
Exactly.
Wokeism. So this, it goes back to, I need to come up with something which is like completely out there so I can get the attention.
Yeah.
They're just driving for attention.
Oh, are they trying to soften men? That's one conspiracy theory that's out there.
Well,
trying to get men not to be.
If you can't be as strong as a man, then you've got to bring them down to your level.
Masculinity. Yep.
Oh, this is getting very it's getting very misogynist all of a sudden. Andrew Tate like.
No, it's not that. There is the theory, and there's obviously conspiracy theories again. It's like the Chinese, because obviously the Chinese control the TikToks and certain social medias and everything that's going on. So it's like, are they now just pushing these things forward? It's like on YouTube. If you set up a child's YouTube account from scratch, again, I've not tried it. I've only an article, about 3 or 5 articles I've read, so I need to try and see whether it actually does do this or not. But what they're saying is, if you set up a child's YouTube account, then straight away it's this wokeism that's being pushed. It's this genderless, and that's been being pushed. It's this. As I said, I've not tried it. I've not set a child's.
No,
YouTube
I have.
Account.
I set one up. I set one up the other day because we got a new iPad, and YouTube Kids. It just asks the name of your child because it presents.
I mean the videos,
because
they're the short videos now. Like YouTube's gone very much like Instagram.
That's their age group and stuff, and that's pretty much it.
No, I don't mean that. I mean the video.
It doesn't even ask the sex.
Across. No, the videos and things that's getting put into that account.
Yeah. Thing is, I'm not even sure if any of those videos are actually monitored, to be honest, because some of them are just like, why? I look over Milo's shoulder sometimes just to keep an eye on what he's watching, and it's like, Milo, change it. That's just mindless rubbish. Change it. And he's there like that.
Yeah, and it is. And this is the thing that people do. And they train, especially nowadays, they train from an early age, aren't they? Just to,
the amount of shite. I mean, the amount of Instagram shorts, YouTube shorts and stuff that are literally just shite. Not
people do it for
funny,
views and clicks.
Not interesting. And there's like millions of views on it. You think, who the fuck is watching this shit?
Because those are the ones that
the parents are not. People. That's the problem. The parents are not watching it. The kids are. And there's like this big thing on YouTube Kids where they obviously have an account which has so many followers. So they get like presents from toy companies.
Fucking hell.
Obviously.
Jojo and all that
and
shit.
What they do is they do like an unboxing, and they do it with like fun and stuff like that. And there's normally another kid. There's like an adult and a kid. They do the unboxing their presents from their sponsors, basically. And and then they test the toy out, and the kid watching it is like, right, I now want that toy.
Of course.
And the parents are not watching this. I stick my head over his shoulder every now and again to see what he's watching. And it's just, they're just pushing crap all the time.
It's like when we were kids. Do you remember at Christmas time when the adverts come? And you just watch like, for example, like we'll say He-Man. He-Man was
Castle Grayskull. Castle Grayskull was the best piece of marketing I've ever seen in my life.
But now it's all the time. It's not just at Christmas. It's every single with girls, especially like she's gone now, but it was called Jojo. She was called as a girl, and it was called Jojo Bows. All it was bows for the hair. This girl is a multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. She'd have they're called Jojo Bows, and she would review toys, and then she got her own line, and the family would get involved. And there's another one called the YouTube Family, and the mum and dad, they're all involved in it. It's fucking mega money. But it's like they'd be in a house, right? This is what I said. I was sat with her a couple of years ago watching. He goes, where are they now? She goes, oh, they're at the house. I went, that's not their house. Because there was nothing in the house, no pictures. They basically rented this house to do this program.
Yeah,
they were doing, and they were playing hide and seek in this house. Whatever they were doing, it was unbelievable. I was like,
they rent the houses, and there's other ones on
MTV Cribs. Apparently, was like that years and years ago. A lot of them rappers never owned them houses.
Yeah,
out.
But they have them now where there's a big thing.
Pimp My Ride is the same.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Pimp My Ride. There's so many cars got written off because of Pimp My Ride. Because they're putting all this stuff in the back of the cars, like 48-inch TVs in the back of a Metro. But they're not upgrading the suspension, they're not upgrading anything else, the engine mounts or anything to take this weight, and the cars were just collapsing on themselves and
themselves off. The thing is, apparently at the end of Pimp My Ride, they would give the car back to the owner. But apparently in the contract that they signed, they weren't allowed to keep any of the stuff. So basically, they just then ripped it all back out the car, and then they had like just a shell of a car. Yeah, it was all staged.
It's like going back to the Instagram lifestyle. They do it now where they've basically people rent their planes out. So there's a couple of places in hangars. There's a client that I used to deal with that somebody does it there, where they've got a private jet, but it doesn't leave the ground. And people just pay to go and have photographs taken outside the plane and inside the plane to make it look like they've flown a jet somewhere. So there's people who do it who go to, I don't know, Dubai. So they'll have a picture, go to this place, rent it for 200 quid or £1,000 or whatever it is. I don't know how much it is. They'll have the picture taken outside the plane, a picture taken in the plane, and then they'll fly coach,
EasyJet,
for an American term, EasyJet, as cheap as possible over to Dubai, and then do the same thing on the other side in Dubai. So it's making them look like they're living this big, extravagant lifestyle on social media. But people watch it, people follow it, people do it. And they make it look like they're earning millions, where they're actually, fair enough, it's good income. They might be earning 40, 50 grand a year off it.
Can you imagine?
It's still a good income.
Imagine going to bed thinking, look at my life. I've completely conned half of Instagram or YouTube or whatever. Like, does that make you fulfilled in life? Does that really make you feel good about yourself?
They don't look.
If you can eat a steak with gold leaf on it,
weird.
I don't think like when we were growing up, we had perception was you go to school, get education, then you get a job, then you get married at your house, all that. That's
you sold drugs and drove around in a 16 valve Mark II Golf GTI.
Yeah, but that's not there anymore. Now it's all run by this stuff, this and it, and it's. If I need to get on TV and be on Love Island and work on from that, or that's what people aspire to. They don't aspire to have a normal job. Not saying all of them, not all kids are like that. But it
quick
seems
wins. It's the quick wins.
Do you know what the number one job of the young people is? Their dreams, what they want to be. So when we were young, yes, exactly, influencer. When we were young, it was probably architect, doctor, fireman, whatever, all the classic shit.
IT was a big one, wasn't it, in our era?
But yeah, today it's influencer. Yeah. Fucking hell.
But that's what the thing people realise is like influencers, your lifespan's probably 2 to 5 years. Maybe you might get some that go a bit longer.
Yeah. They can make fortunes off it, can't they?
The big ones make a lot of money. Yeah. But it's like footballers. It's like one of the places where I've worked in the past.
I don't know.
Sorry, Dave.
So there's a book made by somebody who's made a list of jobs, and the name of the book is called Bullshit Jobs, and it's like a list of like any profession in the world, and it'll tell you if it's actually needed or not. So, arms
train
dealer,
driver,
not needed because we shouldn't have wars. Doctor, needed, of course. Influencer, not needed. Bullshit job, and it's just bullshit jobs that make the economy turn so we can all buy shit that we don't need and live that Fight Club mentality. Buying the shit that we don't need from the people
to impress people that you don't like.
All the money. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's a book called Bullshit Jobs. It's quite funny.
About train drivers.
If you look at all the jobs which are needed, they're the least paid. And the bullshit jobs are always the most paid.
Yeah, they are. But a lot of the time, the bullshit jobs are short-lived.
That's your COVID thing, isn't it? What happened in COVID is the essential people that we needed were getting collapsed, blah, blah, blah. And the rest of them, we didn't really need, do we? Do we really need bankers? Do we need hedge fund people? We don't need all them, do we?
Yes and no.
I do get it to a degree, but the shit that comes with it, you don't need. So, like,
you don't need the greed, you don't need all that, but then people need that greed to create cash for people. I get what you mean about the greed side of it. People just taking money, ripping people off, and just the greed and just blipping it. But it's like you need those. It's like there's a statistic. I don't know if it's still the same now, but this is like what it was 10 years ago. That 1% of the population pays in 99% of the tax into the system. And a lot of people don't realize that down the tax brackets. The further down your tax brackets you go, the less people understand that. So they think it's like, everybody's saving taxes. Yeah, but like that 1% of people are paying in 99% of the tax into the system. So if you then drop a tax rate, what happens then is, yes, certain people are saving on tax, but people who are domiciled in another country then come to this country and pay more tax. So you're actually generating more income from it. Now, I've got no idea how I got onto that. That just kind of popped into my head. So.
I think we are drawing this to a conclusion.
Yeah.
We have a few Twitch viewers watching.
Okay.
Hello, Twitch. Are we well?
No hot tubs here today.
No hot tubs.
No hot tubs.
That's what they have on Twitch these days, don't they?
Shall we do that next time? Shall we all have a hot tub and just sit there?
Ready to go?
Yeah. Mine's outside, ready to go. We'll just...
This time next week, I'll be in Italy. So I'll do it by the
pool. A hot tub?
No, well, I'm not sure if the place has a hot tub, but it has a pool.
Oh,
So,
how are you supposed to post on Instagrams if it's not got a hot tub?
If you do it next week, I'll be in Italy.
It's not on fire in Italy, is it?
At the moment, it is. Everything's on fire. Even the water. It's like a mega heat wave at the moment.
The
building
can't hear you, mate. Can't hear you, mate.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying
she was.
All right.
Layla was going to book a holiday in Rhodes next year, and the hotel she was going to book is just burnt down today.
Oh no!
So we're not going. We're going to Tenerife anyway.
Bit more windy there.
Yeah, you're all right there.
We're off to Malaga a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Never been.
I'm going to Wales with youngest for a bit. So, there you go.
We're going.
Abersock.
No. Top Ending, was it?
Aberystwyth.
No. What's the other one called? The top.
Abersock.
Where Valley is.
Llandudno.
No,
that's where we're going near Llandudno.
Top of Wales. We're going there at the end of August.
Oh well. Right, guys, I'm going to go because it's fairly late.
It is. It's time, I think.
In the morning.
Well, GMT, it's not.
Nope.
We've done 3 o'clock.
Well,
we've done 3 hours.
It is officially tomorrow, GMT.
We're done. We're done. Everyone will say goodbye.
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 You lot are just like, everyone should tune in next week to get the same type of, enthusiasm and reaction.
Thanks, love. Thank you for all the lovies out there.
Let's do this after the holidays when we're all refreshed.
Let's do them because that's the worst time after your holidays.
Just feel like that, I'll be honest. I feel like I'm on fumes at the moment. So, yeah.
Big time.
Right. I'm saying goodbye.
See you later, guys.
Yep. Au revoir. I'll fade you all out. Yep. Goodbye, Rob. Rob's gone.
Au revoir.
Goodbye, French Dave. He's gone. Goodbye, Big Dave. And goodbye, me. Tune in whenever you can. Go and look at some of the other videos. They all very interesting. It's just middle-aged men whining and whinging. I'm going to play the outro. Bye-bye.